Good evening, everybody, and all the cameras are messed up, and there's two of me. Hi, it's me. I've been here the whole time. What? Okay, while I fix that, welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Elendor Chronicles, brought to you by the Component Cast. Let me just see why this is being the way it is. It is probably because... Nope. This episode is going to be a little bit different than the one we've previously broadcast for a couple of reasons. One, the last broadcast, we're apologizing because we had some technical difficulties that went on for a load of it, so the replay of it is pretty much it's pretty much audio only, and because of that, and because we noticed that halfway through, we elected to end the session there. Okay, I've got Lake on the screen. I'm trying to do too many things at once.
It's all good.
There's Beth. I've gained a Beth. It's just Lambert that I've lost. There we go. I've got everybody. Hooray! Technical difficulties at the end of last stream seem to have carried over into today. But basically, we're going to just head straight into tonight's episode and continuing on. The players have had some of their resources reset, and we pick back up with a little bit of a recap from where everything left off last time. And now I just put on some music to set the mood. At the end of the last episode, our brave adventurers had just regrouped with the forward scouts within the plain, the planed steppe of blood. They had reported that ahead of them there was this large portal system that the enemy had been using, and not too long before, perhaps a couple of weeks, perhaps about a week in the plain, a group of Death Knights had ventured forth, but into the opposite direction from where the army was marching. Our brave heroes, Valymr, Anrayne, Sunderstar, and Breton, were at the head of a large column of about 600 men and women from the plains of the Nardathel that were marching through this hellscape. Our party went ahead and investigated this portal site, which was about 20 minutes away from this spotter's position. There they found a grim discovery. The portal's keeper was an entity named the Hollow. They revealed to the party, before expiring, that there was a series of puzzles they needed to sacrifice towards in order to open the gate. And it was alluded to that someone would need to replace the existing Hollow to keep control of the gate. With that grim discovery, the party began planning for what possible tasks they might have to do. They then used their own arcanical knowledge to investigate the portal site a bit more. They discovered as well that the key that was pulled from the chest of the Hollow had begun the portal's summoning sequence, and a large stone had revealed a beating, gigantic heart at the center, piped in and interconnected and interwoven with the portal fabric. Various sigils had glowed all over the portal that, from Valymr's recollection and ability to read with Devil Sight and Ruby's own understanding, put together that it's a series of random phrases as well as interjected names. The other factor that they discovered is they'd written down all of these names. And they had been revealed the 3 trials that would be required to complete this portal and its sequencing. One challenge was the Lock of Flesh, where only the worthy may pass. Prove your devotion in the tongue of the abyss, which is, you assume, to do with the beating heart. You also had the Lock of Names and the Lock of Shadows that you were investigating. You summarized that the Lock of Names required a certain name to be spoken, and the Lock of Shadows was, when one path opens, another must close. And will you pay the toll? So, Breton, Ruby, Valymr, you have probably another 40 minutes or so before the army begins setting up camp at the location found by the scouts, which is probably another 20 minutes from here on a little ridgeline that you've seen, that you've also was marked on your maps. You have the waypoint HUD, shall we say. What would you like to do?
So we still need to kind of figure out how it is that we activate the portal properly, because we sort of didn't we get it turned on but not active? Something along those lines, if I recall correctly.
Yes, it's not.
I probably don't.
We don't have the password.
Hmm.
We're at the loading screen. We need the pin.
We've opened the UI, but we have yet to input the command.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, so we need to figure out the name we need to say. We had a list of them. There's 10 of them. I think it's the one that's capitalized for reasons. But,
Yeah.
Can't just meta that knowledge. I don't
Didn't
know.
I suggest doing the thing with the pearl? I forget the name of it all the time. Identify? Yeah.
We tried it, I think. Yes? And the
Um,
answer was basically the same.
Did you try identify?
I think I did.
I don't think you ever finally did.
Oh.
Well,
then I will sit down and pull out my pearl and give it a good old 10 minutes of ritual casting identify.
Are you trying to identify on the key?
Sure.
What, or the keys that was, to remind you,
I know I've done it on the gate.
It was handled like a key, but it was a blade.
Yeah, I could do that. I know I've done it on the gate.
I don't think you did on the... I know you've done some Arcana checks on the gate. I don't think you identified it, but you would also know that Identify probably wouldn't work on a gate, considering Identify works on objects, and a gate is a structure. Sure.
Plus, we didn't reach the gate properly. We didn't get close enough to even touch the gate yet, right?
Yeah, you haven't really, but the gate is a monolithic structure. It is, to remind you, it is sat and carved between 2 of those mountainous spines. The little hut was technically on the side of the gate. And okay. You've been close enough that I'd say you've been within 10 feet of certain elements of it to be able to have read all of these names and stuff, because it's spiraling all around. So I'd say you've been exploring this location pretty heavily.
Then Ruby will spend her time doing the identify.
Sure.
Probably about 20 minutes worth of you between the key and the gate.
Yeah, no problem. You would know that you don't get anything from identifying the gate. From the key, you know that it is a You know that it is a magical blade of some sort. It seems to do necrotic damage. And this would actually be a +3 dagger. But there is another element to the magic that seems to be interconnected with the spell plane shift. It's like you're reading that it has half of the information for plane shift, if that makes sense, for a certain plane.
Yes, sorry, my dog just unplugged my monitor. I'll be right back. I can hear you, though.
Okay, no problem.
Damn you, dog.
If this works like a key and it has like half the information for plane shift, maybe the other half of the information is in a part of this gate that we need to stab with the key.
Well, according to the figure that gave us the key, another life or something to that effect had to be used, so it might be that it only completes the circuit when it is embedded in something that it is drawing the life from.
Well, given that it probably doesn't work on demons, but this is the abyss, so demons, it might need an actual living life, as opposed to a dead one.
Yeah, it's not a thing that I think anybody would want to volunteer for.
I can.
Yeah, I understand that somebody has to do this, but that's why we were trying to find an alternative, because that seemed like a much better option.
Yeah, you did float the idea of trying to trick a demon.
That might work. I can also say that if I die, I come back, at least once.
Just because you've made a track record of that, I don't think we want to use that as an example.
No, you have a magic. You do have a magic item that would bring you back.
Well, no, not just that. I also... It hasn't happened yet because I haven't died since, unless you count the traversing thing, which I'm not going to rehash that particular argument.
Dead is dead. Math is math.
I can come back if I die.
Well, we also saw in that room, that individual wasn't necessarily dead. They were corrupted. They were hollified. They weren't dead.
Yeah, they became the Hollow. You're the ones that killed him.
I'm not saying
I just want to interject there and say, hollified? Fucking great word.
It's like,
Love it. Yeah.
Also,
That's in character. That's Valymr saying that.
Isn't that just another word for consecrated?
I've never heard the word hollified before, and I love it.
Okay. Either way,
It'd be hallified, not hollified. Hollified is a very different thing. There's a very single letter difference, yes.
Anyway, I'm gonna go back to figuring out this damn gate.
Yeah.
You guys can go scrounge up a demon we could ritually sacrifice in a way that is definitely not evil.
Well, if we do get a demon, I could trap it. I have that magic. I have a magic circle.
Demon would be much preferable than sacrificing anything. I even want to, not even a member of the army deserves a fate like this. This is a fate worse than death. Well, we still have a little under 30 minutes until the army gets here, so I think Breton just looks at this gate, shrugs his shoulders like, this is not my area of expertise. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing here in that regard. I'm gonna scout the area, see if there's anything about nearby that might even qualify as a living being for something like this.
Okay. Are you taking Silveril up?
Yeah, he's gonna scout from the sky because that's just a lot easier to spot things.
Totally. Sorry, I just polished off a plate of gnocchi. Go ahead and give me a perception check. With advantage, because you Silveril is helping. Unless you'd like make a separate action for Silveril.
22.
22. You do notice you start thinking back to the information where you heard about the Death Knights riding away. And beyond this portal, you actually see maybe another day's ride, a city or a town in this plane.
A day's ride, and there's a city in the distance. I'm going to assume that in the Abyss, the city is the same here as it is there. Even a ruined city has got to have things living inside of it. He'll fly back down with that information and say, so, good news and bad news, depending on your perspective of it. The army, as we're marshaling here, is going to be in a good position. That's going to be great for us. There's a city about a day's ride to the, in the distance, just outside of here.
You're shitting me.
Yeah, there's a city. City means life, regardless. I have to assume that maintains truth even in the Abyss. It might be hellish. It might be a hellish hellscape of redundancy, but gotta be something there.
Even demons have a structure and a hierarchy and an order they must obey. They may not like it, but might makes right with them. Also, there's plenty of it.
It's a day away, so that's 2 days that it would take us to source that.
If all we need is one.
We can't linger here ever long.
That's the problem. 2 days is 2 days that the army has to maintain here. 2 days without us here to help secure them.
I think finding a demon in the region might be better than going off to a city we don't know anything about.
As well, if we were to go to the city, that would potentially alert people to our presence. Could bring down a lot more heat on the army than we're willing to have.
Nothing quite like having a time trial. Correct, Knuckles.
Let's finish figuring out about this portal everything that we can. Let's see if we can't figure out everything we need to make it work. If we can find a way to activate it without using a key, that's optimal. But if we need the key or the key is a way to bypass it, then, if we can see the city, how quickly could we get there via using, say, teleportation?
I've never been there. We've already had this talk.
Yeah, but if you can see the location that you're teleporting to.
I offered that before, and I got shot down because I've technically never been there, and I can't really see a mile away or a day away.
I have a telescope, sort of. Might help a little.
There's also the big telescope at the encampment. It wouldn't be a known place perfect teleportation, but there is a theoretical success chance.
Well, so that's what we're gonna be playing by ear. I guess I'll keep circling and see if there's anything that can. Maybe there's a dretch or something that is just writhing in the masses, and I can just grab that and bring it in. Trying to avoid anything larger. I'm confident it would be handled, but the bigger and tougher it is, the bigger the chance that it may resist what we're doing or manage to free itself in a way that fucks our plans. So we'll make do.
I'm also not attuned to the traveler staff right now. If we're going, I would need to use that. I still have access to teleport, but I'd like to spare my magic. So give me some time if we're doing that. All right, so near as I can tell, we do need to sacrifice somebody. We don't have the name of what we're supposed to do. We can just pick a name and cross it off and see if it works and deal with the consequences, though knowing blood magic, that's probably going to suck for somebody. So there has to be some way we know what name to actually use, and I've got nothing on that. Not a clue.
You would also, just as a reminder, the two challenges that you're currently thinking through are locks 2 and 3.
What's lock 1?
Which is only the worthy may pass, prove your devotion in the tongue of the abyss.
Which we don't know the password either way.
I've got 3 unknowns that have to be solved in a given order with which we have no means to solve any of them. Other than just putting our heads together and seeing if we can't just brute force it.
Was there anything left of the blood keep that we destroyed? Or is it completely...
It was a hole in the ground by the...
Yeah.
Damn.
It literally collapsed in on itself.
How about the necromancer Knight Rider fox we fought when we were trying to leave?
I'd imagine they've been eaten by now.
Yeah, there wasn't...
You didn't see them on your way through.
No, we went through that area. We found that the barriers we had set up for protection had been shifted and moved, like something had been through there, and there was no sign of anything else being there.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't find a dead person to talk to. I can't go to their old stuff to find their things. I literally have no idea what to fucking do.
You did kill a load of hell centaurs recently.
Yeah, but I also disintegrated a large portion of their army.
True. Not all of them were disintegrated.
They were on my mind for potentially grabbing one to sacrifice. That would have been a pain to get back here, but it was an option, and we know they're nearby. But moving a centaur like that would have been a pain, because I don't take it they fly very well, because I bet they're pretty fucking heavy.
Alright, let me think. As Ruby begins to go through her stuff and pulls out a spell scroll that she might be able to use to help out, but Beth has to read it real quick.
Sure. Whilst Beth does that, a reminder of, just to set some of the scene, the gate and the hollow have... The only information you were given by them was about the first lock. You were given the key, and the heart opened. And that's the lock that came to you as the lock of flesh, which said, only the worthy may pass. Prove your devotion in the tongue of the abyss. The other information you've grabbed about what the other rituals might intend and involve, and the knowledge behind them, you received by essentially opening the command prompt of the portal and started looking around for extra detail to try and prepare yourselves better. From everything that you can tell right now, only the first lock is accessible.
All right.
And is this lock on the gate somewhere?
So, from what you can see is next to this heart, there is like 3 large tubing. It's hard to say because a lot of it looks like stone, but then again, so did the heart until recently. But it's like there's 3 connected pipework areas that seem to latch and intertwine with the portal, and they've got like the arcane symbol of lock on them.
It might just be worth trying to fiddle around with the dagger in the first lock area to see if anything, like if it has, something appears with proximity, perhaps, or...
All right, I theoretically might have a solution to help provide us some guidance. And Ruby is going to pull out 5 scrolls of divination.
Okay.
So I can ask somebody upstairs a single question concerning a goal, event, or activity, and they will offer a truthful reply. Probably. I can do it once, or technically do it 5 times, but if I do it consecutively, the more risky it becomes and the less possible. Also, I don't know how effective contacting gods is going to be right now. Presumably fine, but...
Yeah. The other concern is, depending on what they know, they might be helpful, but the individual who would probably know this best is the one who we definitely don't want to know that we're here. We also don't know where it's obviously we also don't know if this is even going to work considering the current situation with the deities.
Yes.
So
Sorry, I'm stumped. I don't know what else to do other than capture a demon and torture one for information. Other than go pick the dead, but even then.
profess the loyalty to the Abyss. Profess the loyalty to Null. We racked our brains on that already, I'm fairly certain, and we came back with nothing. I mean, we put no study, no research into Null. We don't know any Nullian customs. We don't know any Nullian prayers.
Okay.
And there's nothing written here that would suggest that that is what you need to read to get past the first gate.
I have another solution. You're really, really not going to like it. I can go home. I can go to the crypt, the library beneath the cathedral, and I can get there and back in a short order. There might be a codex down there. That has
To get off of this plane, you would have to get back to the city, and then you'd have to get back to this plane, and then you'd have to get back to here.
And also, time is weird when you shift planes.
Yeah, there's
You do know for a fact that time dilation occurs with this plane.
Guys, I'm really trying to find a solution here. I understand there's risks with all of them, but
it seems like it'd be safer to go to the city than it would be to teleport out of here. Because if you teleport out of here and you're gone for 2 weeks, then we just move on. We have to solve this without you.
At some point, we run out of food.
yeah.
Which, as a reminder, the army has 2 months' supply.
But timey-wimey.
And that's assuming it's 2 weeks and not...
Yeah.
It could be better, it could be worse, but we have no control over any of that.
So you have a couple of options. You were already theorizing around You were already theorizing about what the tongue of the abyss might be. You began to pull at some strings there about what did you know about the abyss, what have you pulled from before, any interactions, etc. And it was a bit more than nothing. You had pulled a few things.
Also, it's also been over 2 weeks, Midge. Like we're drawing on straws here.
Yeah, I am, which is why I'm leaning into reminding you a little bit. You did talk about both blood being a key element, as it's, plane of blood. Nullian worship is quite often about blood. It is the sea of blood. You're on the blood steps, and also You thought of it in a more literal, less literal sense of, well, what? And you launch on blood because obviously the key looks like a knife.
We need to fuel the heart, and hearts beat blood. They pump blood.
And then the other sort of other angle you were going at was, well, the tongues, like what greases palms, what gets tongues talking? Blood, silver, gold, money, and then blood, silver. So those are the connections you had for this one. Those are the ones that you had made. Anyway.
Those centaurs, how long ago did we kill the centaurs?
It's probably about...
before we rested.
It was before you rested, so it's about 17 hours at this point. If that...
I was gonna say, if I could go and take a vial of their blood and just see if this lock of flesh pouring the blood over the giant beating heart would work in a sense. Other than that, one of us could just a little bit of exsanguinating on it. Hang on, I'll be right back. Can I go over to the Havre people and ask if any of them have got some blood bags or anything of the sort?
So you're going to try and fly to the army where they're going to be setting up, or you're going to head over there?
Yeah, because like I know there's been a lot of like beating around the bush, right? But
so
they're vampires, right? They're vampires.
So this is the thing. They're not.
Fuck.
They have blood malediction. Some of them have blood malediction. Some of them might be what you would consider Dhampir, like half vampires. But the only true vampires are the rulers of Havre.
Right.
Would I blood cursed anyway?
Having spent time amongst this specific group of Havre warriors, would I get the opinion that any of them may have a bottle of blood?
They might do, because from what you would know from your time spending with Havre is they have their own version of the Chevaliant called the Sanguine Ossuary, and blood is often used in ritual there.
Then that's what I would like to do.
Okay.
I can't fly though.
You can start running.
If we need blood, there might be blood in the camp that is kept fresh, probably. I would assume. Magic bottle keeping blood fresh. I would assume. We could request the Havre warriors if we could somewhat borrow their ossuary. It's worth a try. If this lock is asking for blood, which it seems like it is, that's...
It'll show if there might be a reaction. I don't know how much. The language of the Abyss, like, it's easy to say it's blood, but it might equally just be true that the language of the Abyss is violence.
True.
It might not be giving blood that it was wanted. It wants to be shedding blood. That might be the important distinction.
DM, can I draw any correlation between the portal that we had in the farmhouse that required me to basically stick my hand in the damn thing and it shredded it to this?
You would... I'm not even going to make you roll. You would say, because you sacrificed a little bit yourself when you were dealing with that initial portal, you would say that there's probably similar magics here. This is just on a much bigger, more almighty scale.
So we don't not just need a little blood, we need a lot of blood. Probably a whole lot of person's blood. The whole sacrifice, not just the ouch my hand.
From your understanding with this first lock, it's proving devotion. There's nothing Nothing that you can see that would suggest it's asking you to take a life.
Are there the slots where one would insert their hands like the other one had?
No, but there is this giant beating heart. That was originally stone that is now flesh and beating.
Yeah.
Is it like a accurate heart? So that we've got the valves and everything.
More accurate heart.
It is. Yeah, the valves seem to be connected to the lock piping system.
So there's no pipe that's open that we can pour into.
No, it's just heart flesh. And to tell you, like, to explain this heart in terms of scale, you know, like the Daily Planet globe?
Mm.
It's that.
That's colossal.
Yeah, it's a large heart.
So one of the locks is open. That's the one we have to figure out how to do first. That's the one that says prove your devotion to the Abyss by speaking in the language of the Abyss. If Breton just studies the area where that lock is located in the way that it's set up in this, is there any indication of where this must take place? Is there sequencing on the ground that basically says you must stand here, or is there any organization or any setup that might?
Sure, give me either investigation or insight. I will allow insight on this. And by the Daily Planet globe, I mean the interior one, not the one on top of the building in the movies.
What's the other one?
There's
inside like the foyer.
Yeah, there's the slightly big one in the foyer that you can walk around.
Okay.
About like a person and a half tall-ish.
Yeah, let's say like 15 foot by 15 foot. So it's still big.
So a person and a half of Breton.
Yeah. Breton and a half tall and wide.
I don't have. God, I wish I had borrowed knowledge. That would have been so useful in this campaign.
Mm.
That's it's an 11. I think I'm going to use the stone reroll, the Luxon roll for just to try and get something better with that. It's another 11.
Wow. Okay. From you look around, and you look down from, you walked the path down. Well, no, you didn't. You flew down. You flew down from that little overlook, from where the Sigil Keeper Hollow's hut was. And you do follow sort of some markers, etc. And it does seem to say, like, what little amounts for a path in this area, because it's not, like, overweighed by step like a lot of regions. This is kind of built in the sense that someone has created this, that's been carved a bit. It seems like the paving, the floor plan leads, as you progress towards this site, there's a little side path that goes up to the hut, so to speak. And then there is a circular area around this heart region with a little couple of steps up to the heart. And then behind the heart, more towards the portal, there's more pathing towards the portal, and then there's also other steps up to various points of this gate system. Because one of the other things you noticed is there are secondary smaller gates. There's this main one in the center, but it's a small network of what seem to be portal frames built into the side of this.
I don't have a Stargate reference to compare this to.
I know. It's difficult once we run out of Stargate references.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, it's like this thing has multiple. It's like every chevron on this thing is another gate that it's connected to, but I don't know if that's quite accurate.
One of these is clearly the Antarctic gate.
So what I would liken it to is Elder Scrolls. Towards the end of Oblivion, there's the one massive gate and there's smaller gates off the side.
I never finished Oblivion, so no.
Yeah. They open up.
I get the idea. I get
Basically,
the idea
mega
of what
gate,
you're kind of.
But instead of the smaller gates being Oblivion gate size, they're like more two doorway size. Like, it's almost like they would go to, like, other little planes, other regions, outlooks, sort of things. It's like this is like a hub. It's like a train. It's a major train station. It's got interconnecting portals from a few little regions. And actually from I would say from Ruby and Valymr's knowledge, some of these most of them seem to all go to the same plane. However, there are a few that don't go to the same plane.
Gate is a part of a bigger network of other gates. That doesn't necessarily tell us how to open the main gate. That doesn't help us in that much regard.
Valymr, I'm going to say that as you get about halfway to where the army, the army's going to be setting up, you start seeing, like, just over the subtle hillock, banners getting placed in. And, like, you can see that as you're getting about halfway there, the army seems to have reached the location outlined by the scouts, and they are beginning to set up camp a little bit.
Okay.
So, you probably arrive just as people are, like, the baggage train is starting to be unpacked, etc., etc. And Ruby and Breton, you now also see Valymr, like, is visible. This is quite an open area, and actually, like, the place that the camp is setting up on has good view and sightlines of this portal, etc. Similar to whilst remaining slightly protected, similar to the crevice where the scouts were hiding out, but it's actually on the opposite side. Valymr, what would you were going to the Havre people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't take you too long. When you
Because am I still riding Lady Theodora's unicorn? Right, what was it? Not a unicorn, was it? It was
yeah, she had a black
Pegasus.
Pegasus. That's the one.
Yes, you're borrowing her.
By any chance, is she the one that would have the blood ossuary?
Well, it would be blood. Sanguine ossuary is the religion.
Sanguine ossuary. All right, right. But so she okay. I will land and find her.
Okay.
And
it
say,
doesn't take you too long. You can find her.
Lady Theodora, we have a matter that might be something you can help us with. Big gate, and one of the keys, it seems, to opening it is, well, it's blood, and a bit awkward. Your religion, the sanguine ossuary, that requires you to carry blood, am I right?
Yeah, for certain rites and stuff, yes. I believe Nina is carrying what supplies we have for ritual.
Okay. How much of that would you be able to part with if we were to need it?
If it is for the cause of getting us where we need to be. I will talk with the others, but I'm sure we could go without our ritual rites. If we needed to, if it was there for the cause.
Okay. That would be appreciated. I don't know if this is going to work, but it's yeah. We're a little stumped right now, and all we can tell is that blood is required. And I will recite to her as well what we've learned as well. You know, that only the word may pass, prove devotion in the tongue to the abyss, interact with the giant beating heart, fuel the heart.
I would guess that too.
If you have any other ideas,
I'm not a. She's like scratching. I'm not a scholar. I came here to bash heads.
what we need is a bard.
Oh wait, can't we get one?
Before I leave, I will say, I'll be back in maybe an hour. You know, one thing I really think this camp is going to need, and I'm saying this like with volume. We need a bar. So we need to have all the alcohol in a single location. We need a bar table, and we need somebody stood behind it. This is of vital importance, both for morale and also for the sake of this campaign.
I like that has a double meaning of the campaign.
Yes, exactly.
On and you as a party members. Okay. She goes,
we need a bar.
I'm not
in this camp.
Sure why you're seeing it like this, but I agree. We could really do with a bar if there was a. If there was this man I
trust
once
in
knew.
the
He was very good.
geniusness. I trust in the innovativeness of this camp, and I look forward to purchasing drinks when I get back. And I will go and find Lady Nina with Lady Theodora, and we'll.
Yeah, Nina's not. She's a ranking like sergeant at arms. She's not a knight or anything. There are knights, obviously, but she's just one of the sergeants within that Havarayan cavalry that have dismounted. So they're heavy. And these are like halberdiers, and so these are like using bill hooks and that kind of thing. Now that's what they're essentially foot knights is what they would be. But you see that she's got like this. What you'd say would be like a 4 or 5 liter keg. That's made of blackened steel and is etched with loads of Fionian writing, as well as a large holy symbol that you might recognize as the holy symbol of the Sanguine Ossuary.
Okay. What does the writing say on the keg?
It seems to be like a full like set of scripture, and it's along the lines of Mother of Night, whose blood runs in our veins, who protects us from the shadows that plague us for our sins. Take onto this the life force of us, hallowed in your name, and
etc.
flowery, poncy,
Latin ecclesiastical.
No, it's actually in Fionian, not even old Fionian. It's
no, just vibes.
Commoner could read this if they read Fionian. Like,
okay,
but yes, it's in like Gothic writing. Yes.
I will pass along the information again to Sergeant Nina and Lady Theodora. Is it okay if I continue borrowing your mount? They've served me very well so far.
Look, you're doing more than me. I'm just waiting for people to put up my tent.
And the bar.
Right. I've now got to make a bar with Nina. He's going to be able to make a bar. Not Nina, Theodora.
And I will ask if Sergeant Nina will accompany me to the gate with the blood.
Yeah, she will do.
Okay, and I will fly back.
You see that Nina is also she's very pale skinned, like what I would call Caucasian.
His water is wet.
Imagine a kind of a Caucasian person who is ill. Like she's kind of very like darkened eyes, a little bit, almost like she's been slightly exsanguinated herself, although she's muscular and fit, and it doesn't look like it's actually she's lethargic or anything from it. It's just it's that Normally, you'd look at this person and go, "Oh, you should go to the infirmary," but this seems to be her normal state. She also has bright, like blood red hair that she's got tied into a really long plait.
Was she one of the ones that was hurt by a mosquito before, or no?
She would have recovered by now.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I hope we don't need to use all of the blood.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know if this thing is just to blood. My fellow Breton said that maybe the language of the abyss is violence. So maybe how was this blood acquired?
It was
Was
donated.
it through violence or donated? Okay. Okay. Well, I'll just continue flying until we get back there.
Yep. Okay. Ruby, Breton, are you guys doing anything in this time?
The flyover hasn't given much insight into maybe how even the first gate is unlocked, so that's still kind of a puzzle to him. And as Breton gets more and more into it, I think he keeps looking over in the distance toward that city was and just wondering, is Deus vaulting his ass over there, grabbing somebody and bringing them back and forcing them to tell us how to do this? Not our best option.
Ruby's still trying to puzzle out the gate and see if there's solutions she hasn't thought of yet.
Okay. So you're taking
either
studying time.
Breton's either thinking, like, do I go to the city or do I just take the fucking dagger and plunge it into the heart and see what happens? Because that doesn't seem like it's good. Helpful, but it would be doing something. You said the city is a day away as the crow flies.
Yes, you would be faster than that.
Yeah.
I think Solbro would take offense if you said he was as slow as a crow.
Precisely.
Actually, I think you said it was a day away.
I said a day's
Sorry, it was
away.
a day's ride, and we are both in air and faster than a horse, so
Yeah.
it would not be a full day, but it would still be
A time.
probably 6 hours to get there. 6 hours back, assuming that a day's ride is 8 hours of riding, because that's about how far long you can take to spend. I mean, 12 hours there, 12 hours back. That's almost manageable. I think Valmyr's got a good idea with the blood. We should see where that takes us, but if that doesn't lead us anywhere, I think that city might be our next best stop.
I'm not comfortable leaving behind the army that long undefended, but you might be right.
I think saying that they're leaving them behind undefended is a bit of a misnomer. They've got a good defensible position, and they are some of the best warriors the Nautilus has to offer. We mitigated a lot of the damage with the centaurs, but at the same time, like, we have to assume these individuals can handle the abyss to some degree for at least a period of time. These are the people we are trusting to hold the Blood Keep while we assail the Dragon Isles.
I'll start attuning to the teleportation staff here in a moment. Actually, I need to unattune from one thing and reattune to another.
Yep. Because which boon did you guys go for today?
I have a lot of HP, so whatever that one is.
Yeah, we took the extra health boon.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'll disentangle myself from the sapphire buckler and reattune to the
Yeah.
traveler staff.
Yeah, you're on Hero's Aid right now.
Yeah, we're on Hero's Aid.
Traveler staff attuned.
Okay.
And not for the first time, we are regretting not taking Mother Wild Splendor because D12 Bardic Inspiration can make all the difference.
Valymr.
If I'm back yet, then
I don't know if Valmyr's back
I
yet.
would say another 5 or so minutes, Valymr will return with Nina.
Can I borrow your telescope, please? Or your...
It's the scope from James's rifle. But yes, there you go.
There's also a telescope in the house, right? The hollow was in?
No, there's a telescope at the scouts camp. They've got a big one that could see.
The scouts camp had a telescope, yeah.
Yeah, it had a big one that could. They were like on an out. Like you can just about see the location they're at from here, but it's so well disguised that you're picking a pinprick out of that and you know where it is, kind of thing. Like, and it gave you a full view of this place.
Well, I don't want to take with them. I could just use this. This will work just fine. I just
The
need
scouts
to see
have
where we're going.
abandoned that camp for the main camp now, haven't they?
Yeah.
No, there was one left there still.
One left there. Okay.
Basically, 2 were sent to guide. 2 were sent ahead to go meet the army and guide them to the new location.
Right.
One of them was... Two of them remained, and one of them did something else.
We sent some to inform the army of where they needed to go. We sent 2 ahead of us to this location here, or the campsite, to ensure that it was proper. There was no demons that had hold up here in the meantime.
Yeah. No,
and then they left somebody behind to hold the campsite for this in the future.
Yeah. So
how far? That wasn't super far away again.
it's another like. You're in essentially there's a triangle between army base, scout camp, and this.
If Breton looks over towards the city and looks back towards where the camp is, would there be a good line of sight between the scout camp and where that city's direction was?
No, because it would be on the 180 perpendicular line. Like this portal kind of intersects with where that city would have been. That's
okay.
Behind it, essentially.
Yeah. I'll quickly mock you up a map of these locations, just so you have a better idea of the layout of these things. I think that'll be helpful.
Well, I am going to fly up in the air with the scope and scout a location just outside the city outskirts.
I need to quickly pull up how far James can see with his scope.
If it's an 8 hours ride, we're talking like 30 miles here. So
it's still at 1.5 magnification.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Better, but it's not. Maybe if it's not enough, then maybe we can borrow the scouts one, drag it up.
30. Hold on, no. I need this explained to me. 30 miles is only a 1.5 times magnification.
No. You can see up to 30 miles of the 1.5 magnification. The horizon on an even level is 12 miles, assuming in flat curvature Earth. But this is an infinite plane, so technically infinite.
In 5e, on a clear day, a character can typically see 2 miles outdoors, or until their view is obstructed by terrain like hills and trees. This is a step, so it is relatively clear.
But I can go up.
Rain reduces it to a mile.
They don't rain here.
Yeah, I know.
Midge, I saw the city that was a day's travel away, so presumably we can have vision on the city itself.
Very clear, yeah. Ruby.
I'll go up a couple hundred feet.
Again, 30 miles away, and I spotted that fucker in the distance, so presumably we know where it is and we can spot it.
You also have increased perception, etc. Yeah, Ruby, give me a perception check, please.
See, now you fucked me.
No. You have advantage because of the telescope.
Yay.
Perception. You fucked me, Midge. Because I had it picked up, and then you said I had advantage, and I dropped it, and it was a 15. And then I picked up the advantage and rolled it up.
Would you like to do...
Reroll it.
Would you like to use any of your abilities to reroll or anything?
Sure. Yeah.
Sorcery points. You got Luxon. You got inspirations.
Natural 20.
That's better.
Natural 20. Okay.
Like a first one in forever.
You quite quickly pick up this city. It seems to be a walled location. There seems to be. You also pick out. But there doesn't seem to be like any castle structure. There's a couple of towers like outside a wall, but it's like kind of not. Not dissimilar to one of the minor settlements in the Rien, or somewhere like that. Somewhere like Bamberley, where you went all those moons ago. You'd probably estimate it's max 1,000 people.
I imagine that even in the Abyss, there's still civilization to a degree that they don't just outright kill people for walking up. Like there is commerce and stuff.
You also pick out a couple of things. Give me a history check, if you wouldn't mind.
Those I'm more comfortable with. 24.
Okay, 24. Yeah. You know quite a... Especially with having Valymr in your party. You know quite a bit about how denizens of the Abyss and denizens of the Hells often fought and battled and the like. And you know that also there is, like, you're chasing Nullian worship, which is undeath through an abyss. So there's a little cross-contamination, shall we say, with a lot of the denizens of the plains. And you look at this and you see, like, the walls are... Around the walls there is infernal language. Like, almost like protective spells. Written in, like, huge runic carvings on the city walls. You think that might be a devilish city? An outpost, a remnant.
It's a fortress of the hells and the abyss.
And to also reiterate, this isn't fortified. This is a fortified town. This is not a hard point. This is not a military installation from the looks of it. This looks like a
colonization
colony, a remnant, a trade post, maybe.
I will relay that to the party.
Also, Nina turns to you. I'm here with the blood. What do you want me to do?
Can we see if the heart here on this gate wall reacts at all to being fed a bit of blood?
Yes, so, okay. She, like, unlatches the barrel from her side, puts it down, and, like, you see there's also, like, a little kickstand, so it stands up as a keg. And then she, from her hip, she, unchains a black metal goblet and begins to fill it. And she cork stoppers the keg again, and she has this small chalice of blood.
You said black metal goblet, Mage. I'm like, does the lead make the blood taste sweeter?
Makes it more metal.
You definitely get your iron. Wait, no, you don't.
It depends if they got hemochromatosis.
She's like kind of saying, like, do you want me to, or you?
I'll take it off her, and I will.
Okay. How close are you getting to the heart?
That's a dangerous question, Midge. It's a dangerous question.
It's a very DM question.
Yeah, you got to get close enough that you know if you had garlic for lunch, Midge, or Valymr.
uh, arms outstretched. Like I'm gonna get so I can. If I reach my arm out, then I would touch it.
Sure.
But I will just.
As you begin to move your arm forward, you begin to see the globules of blood elevate out of the cup and be like dragged towards the heart, and the blood then like spills over it, and you see the heart drink the blood. Like that's the noise. Like you hear it like sort of groan and seep the blood into it.
Because we may have been onto something.
You do notice that nothing seems to happen with the lock.
Maybe it requires more than a goblet.
But you notice the heart drinks hungrily.
Well, it tells us proximity is important, and it also tells us that wherever we get the blood or the sacrifice from, it needs to be done near where the heart is. It didn't just rip it from you, Valymr. It didn't just steal it from your flesh while you were there doing it. So the act of the sacrifice seems to be as much a part of it as anything.
Yeah, hopefully it's not just a quantity thing. But even then, if it is a quantity thing, then the quantity is probably a full life worth of it.
Actually, I bet it's not alive. I bet it's a hollow. The figure that we found said that the key to this was one must be hollowified. That might have been the other clue that we needed. I bet if you stab this blade into someone's chest within range of that heart, it takes everything it needs from them. But that still would only be one key, one lock.
As far as you know, from what the Hollow was saying, that seems to be in line with the third option. The third and final thing is that someone must become a Hollow.
Okay, so just on the first one for now. Could it just be a quantity thing then for the first part?
Do we have any deserters?
Do you have any deserters? No, not currently that you know of. Read the first clue again.
Lock of flesh. Only the worthy may pass. Prove your devotion in the tongue of the abyss. Interact with giant beating heart. Fuel the heart. Prove your devotion in the tongue of the abyss. I don't speak Abyssal. And also the tongue of the abyss could be literally a metaphor for violence or blood silver or... We don't have any blood silver on us. We destroyed everything we came across.
So, and granted, this is not me misremembering. I could have swore that blood silver was a creation of devils, not demons.
You're correct.
Right, but is Null specifically...
But you know
is he just hiding out in a demon plane? But he's not a demon himself. He's a god.
But you also know that the forges that were here were dealing in... were making...
Blood silver. Yeah. And it is a devil city that is just over the horizon. Or just on the horizon.
Mm-hmm. I would say, as a GM, you've kind of gotten the answer of half the clue. Look at the other side of the wording.
Only the worthy may pass. But what makes one worthy?
They were the one who made the sacrifice. and I don't mean that in their blood was sacrificed. If they were the individual who made the offering, you gave the heart blood. Does that make you worthy?
It's gonna be really obnoxious when you
I don't
find out
feel
that
worthy.
everybody has to do it in order to open it.
That would mean that that would mean sacrificing. Every single person would have to make a personal sacrifice of what this is requiring in order to go through this portal.
There's no way that can be it.
That would depend on how much blood is actually required. Is it just symbolic, or is it an actual amount? I mean, I think the more Breton is looking at this, the more Breton is just like, you know what, fuck this. Breton's going to take his gauntlet off, he's going to take his swing glove, and he's going to cut his hand open and just hold it up to the heart.
What are you cutting your hand with?
His Sanguillum.
His sanguillum.
Yeah, not the fucky dagger. We're holding off on that one. That's puzzles to be determined later. No, we're going with the Sanguillum on this one.
Okay.
We're not the last resort just yet.
I'm willing to take a step. I'm not willing to say, you know what, I'll plunge this into my chest and see what happens. And if I'm dead, then you know what? It's been a good campaign, guys.
Roll a D4.
3.
You take 3 points of damage from your sanguillum.
Okay.
And the blood does begin to flow towards the heart, and it does. And it begins to beat. But there is no It does hungrily eat the blood, but it doesn't visibly change.
So that was. Everybody definitely heard it say more, right?
I didn't say anything. That was just me not being able to pitch the grunt.
I definitely heard the word more, though. But I'm going to choose to believe that.
Okay.
Starting to beat. Okay. Guys, if we don't have any other options here, then...
Yeah.
How does the dagger that we got, the key itself, how does that respond to blood?
Who has it right now?
Breton was the one who pulled it out of the individual's chest. I don't remember him giving it to anybody other than for it to be identified. So I guess if it was being identified, then either Ruby, I think Ruby would be holding it because Breton was searching around while she was doing that.
Yep. And Ruby, how close are you to the others whilst this is going on?
I think she's still studying the gate last I left her.
You said you were...
So...
You were...
Flying up. Yeah, she's up. That's right, she was studying the terrain for the city.
You'd done that and you came back down. Were you... I think you were attuning to the staff.
Yes.
Are you doing that midair?
I mean, I could do... I'm a very capable person.
I mean, I like that cross-legged, but you're just...
You don't hover, you fly.
I mean, technically, I could fly and just not move.
It counts as movement, I think. Your flight. You don't levitate.
Yeah. No. If something reduces your movement to 0, you fall. You don't just keep hovering.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference between not moving and not actively walking. Just because I'm not falling doesn't mean I'm standing.
But I don't know if you can walk and attune.
Roll with it.
I mean, screw it. Yeah, like if we're just gonna sit here staring at each other like we have no clue, then that'll be the next thing we do. Breton's gonna get the key and he's gonna cut his hand with the key.
Okay. Breton, you cut your hand with the key and it stings. Like, a cut is one thing, but this is just hurting. Give me 2 moments. was making a map and I minimized my tabs. You take ten points of necrotic damage, and your blood begins, as it floats away from you, you notice it begin to turn black as it gets almost necrotically eaten by the like energy of the blade, and a string connection from the end of the blade key connects with the heart. And as you do, the heart begins to pump and pump and pump, and then the blood goes necrotic. The heart begins to fill with black ichor, and then its layer begins to shed and crumble, and you see that one of the lockstone like lines rotates and like locks into place. The runes around it glow, and it goes from being completely stone to being a like a line of almost like bleeding pipework all the way up, and the heart also crumbles down, revealing this what looks to be a control panel from inside the gore of the heart. There's like another altered control panel.
So for this one, this is the lock of names.
But yes, as far as you can tell, you have unlocked the first lock.
Remind me how we found the names again?
How you
I think
found
that came from the identifier.
You literally all walked around and read all of the names that you could find on the portal itself.
Okay.
Yeah. You all were very, very adamant that it was Zorvath for some reason or another that I can't quite seem to conceivably understand.
I thought it was Make My Man.
And I thought it was Orkin because I thought that was appropriate. Yeah. It's the only thing that relates to death in here in some form or another, so. I don't suppose it offered any insight on whether, like, if we enter the wrong password, do we have to make the sacrifice to open lock 1 again? Does lock 1 close if we get lock 2 wrong?
Can we now cast Identify on the second lock, now that it's open?
As a reminder, Identify works on objects.
Okay, is the lock not a separate object from the structure?
The lock is a name for a part of the ritual. So no.
But the control panel itself is not an object.
We welcome to the great device of when does an inanimate object become a structure?
when does it? Yeah, I've had this argument before when players try to cast. It was a heat metal on an infernal machine. And they argue it's like the infernal machine itself is an object, but it's like, yes, but the object itself is also made up of lesser objects. When is a door not an object? When does the door hinge? When does the door knob become a separate part from the door? And the point that we made too, it's like, listen guys, you just gotta work with me a little bit. If I think the idea works, it works. If I don't think the idea works, it doesn't work. You just gotta trust your DM.
Just aside from that, casting heat metal on infernal metal.
That's a good point.
It runs it a little bit more efficiently.
Well, the thing is, it was being ridden by an entire group of werebores, and they wanted to set the car on fire. They wanted to basically turn the car molten. So all those werebores that were driving it were basically being plunged into, it's like if you were driving a car and suddenly the entire car became molten hot.
So what I would say is, identifying might help you with the console itself, because it looks to be like essentially a keyboard. It's like
does it look like this part of
lexicon? It's like it's almost like where you would input a name.
Does it look like anything that we saw in that Mind Flayer Underdark? Underdarky. Like...
No, it's not as advanced as that. This is more like...
Keycard! Ah!
This looks to be like runic stones that you can interact with. And
I'm guessing it is also an imbecile.
This part of the puzzle was created by Midge when we still had Mordred with us.
Give me... Valymr, just give me an insight check, please.
I will do that for you. It's written... Sorry, what language did you say it was in? The keys on the key card. Or is this the question?
So, okay. Here's the thing. With Devil Sight, you just see the translations. So I think you might require someone else to work out what language this is for you.
Okay, it is a dirty 20.
True Sight doesn't translate languages, or is that your... Do you still have Eyes of the Runekeeper?
I still have Eyes of the Runekeeper.
Okay, so you do just see the literal translation.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh man, what do I see, Midge? Because I don't have any of these special powers. I'm just a guy.
Yeah,
you're not just a guy.
This looks to have been... this looks to be written in mostly Abyssal, but there is an Infernal translation to each letter as well.
So it's Abyssal and Infernal.
You have a multi-language keyboard, essentially. But essentially it looks like the right... with that Dirty 20, you actually see something that might help you here, Valymr.
Yay!
You see that there is a limited amount of letters that you can input.
How many letters?
That'll narrow down how many names are enterable if it doesn't work. Are we also just assuming the names we have, Midge, are those also the theoretically translated names?
Yes.
Just so we don't have to worry about, like...
Yes.
Yeah, well, see, these are what they read in common. We don't actually know what the translation for them is in Demon.
You do, because Ruby and Valymr were working together to get these names, so you have both. Because Ruby speaks Abyssal or Infernal. One
yeah,
of the two.
No, they have those two ends covered. It was more joke of, well, we have the common names. We don't have the Demon Abyssal names, but it's, yeah.
I speak both.
It's 7.
7.
Also, Valymr, you see more names in this panel.
Tits.
Like on the inside of this heart that you didn't see before.
How many of them are capitalized? Sorry, it's you guys focus so hard on the capitalization. I'm gonna keep making a joke about it. I got to, otherwise I'm gonna go crazy here.
So, crossing out the ones that are... You said 6 letters? Sorry, 7 letters?
Mm-hmm. These are the
no, make my man is not allowed. Sorry, what did you say?
These are the other things you think are names that you get with that Dirty 20.
Okay. So, Orkin is out, Make My Man is out, Zorvath still in. Wait, those are the other ones? Oh god, there's so many.
Yeah.
And he took all the capitals out this time.
I did.
Do any of these have meanings? Like, you know how some names also like double up as meaning something? Victoria is victory, like that. You know, like with other. Does any of these names have like, this is the translation of to burn in a pit of fire? Violently.
Devils and demons are less likely to do that. That's a very human. That's a very humanoid plane. Like, that's a mortal thing. That's a very mortal concept. Because names carry a lot of powers with demons, devils, etc. in terms of their banishment. It would be bad if, you know, I'm the demon, victory. We have victory. Oh, God damn it. You know. Or he just keeps appearing. Please stop. Just accidentally summoning him every time would be a bit.
So we need to say a name. It's going to be 7 characters. We have several options still.
We got a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it has to be 7 characters. Do the apostrophes count as a character?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So that rules out
Dugthaws.
Dugthaws.
So Dugthaws is not, but that means a Thor could be.
Ha!
Because that is 7 characters. Just Gone is 7 characters. Vagdrith is not. Actually, that's 8 anyways. Algog is 7. I don't know why I'm focusing on the one with his apostrophes. That's just how my brain works, I guess.
Belmath. Josgath. Oh my god, a lot of these are 7.
Somebody just want to enter Zorvath and see what happens. Just in case.
Get we ball! Zorvath!
I do and I don't, because it feels like the reason we're focusing on that is kind of meta, and
Or it's a red herring. Mm.
okay, this is our new list of names, all with 7 characters.
And that is also including the bottom list. Okay, so we have Zargoth, Jusgath, Zorvath, Drazark, Athor, Velmath, Jusgath, Zaramin, Argog, Ergroth, Jesgon, and Zoraman. Zoraman's awesome. I kind of want it to be that just because that's a cool sounding name.
You like X names, though.
It also
I do like X names. That's fair.
I was, well, yeah.
It also the dragons that we are, you know, kind of all that, they enjoyed X names.
I just realized, yeah, there's a Zoroman and a Zaramin. I mean,
Zaraman the black.
I will say, as a DM, with all you have all the information for this next puzzle.
so you say that, Midge, but that makes you seem like we're clearly forgetting or missing something that is super noticeable and obvious that we haven't done, or this is a word jumble and we just haven't figured out the jumble yet.
I think
Jusgoth is on that list twice, too, by the way.
Yo, if Jusgath's on there twice, because I got those from my list and Midge's list. And I just did my list, and then I went to Midge's list. It's Jusgath. If he's on there twice, it's Jusgath. He's on both lists.
This is where we confirm, Midge. Is that name listed both on the outside of the portal and on the inside of the heart?
Yes.
Input that shit.
That seems as viable choice as any.
It's the only one that's doubled up with 7 letters. And I don't think any of the other ones are doubled up, but that's...
I was looking for similarities in the way we could start, just removing them. It's like, yeah, just got this on this list twice. There it is, right there. Who wants to be the brave soul that does it?
I will.
Shit, that means I have to do the third lock. No, wait.
Nose. Don't you know, Valymr? It's okay, you've been dead before.
I can bring you back. It's all
I didn't like it, though. There was a lot of water.
You don't remember that.
It's because
I was having a nightmare.
Selectively chose not to remember that.
I was having a nightmare, and I just confused it with death. And that all of my nightmares are water.
I keep making the joke about if we come back again, Valymr, you get a free Sunday. So you know what?
That's a
To
metal
the holiday.
I've made that joke every single time, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Okay?
All right. What name are we going with?
Jusgath.
All right.
Juzgath.
Rose will input the code. Ruby.
Okay. You input the name, and you hear in Abyssal. The name is known. And the second lock cycles in. It begins to, all the stone begins to break away, and blood begins to pump towards the portal. It flickering and glowing even more so.
Whew. Ruby, thumbs up. Got it.
Unfortunately,
All right,
now we have the problem, man, sir. Because we have to. One path opens, another must close. Will you pay the toll?
Also, Ruby, as you do that, the like runes in front of you all start to flip over, and instead of being single letter inputs, they are like chevrons. I'm gonna use Stargate terminology here. They're chevrons for portal encoding. They look to be like tuning fork stuff.
Will you pay the toll?
This one's pretty easy because, as we said, this is what the Hollow is referring to. That somebody must take the place. Somebody has to be the control for the gate.
But how?
Breton, using his Sanguillum, just kind of mimes like sliding it towards his heart.
Here's a quick reference map as well of the.
Sure. She'll extend a hand out for the Sanguillum then.
Well, you know that from what you were told, it needs to be basically the key needs to be given to someone, and they must willingly become the Hollow.
Yeah.
And then the key dagger.
Okay, now.
That is why our first thought to all of this was we need to find a way to bypass this to circumvent it. Otherwise, somebody is being left behind here.
Yeah, there's a quick layout. The lighter spots are like elevation. Either they're spines or they're like hills. Yeah, so now you need to make the decision of essentially who's going to take the L and become a Hollow.
I don't know if this is something that could be undone. I don't know if this is something that could be fixed in the future.
Only one way to find out.
And if the individual has to do so willingly, it doesn't mean we can just find somebody and have a demon or a devil do it for us.
I'll do it.
If you do it, you're going to be stuck here. I don't think... I mean, that Hollow that was up on the cliff there, it didn't seem like they really had the means or the ability to move or do or be or think. They just were a part of this.
It's not something you can say, oh, I can come back to life, because he technically didn't die until we took the knife.
Ruby, who's holding the key blade at the moment?
Breton had it last because he cut his hand with it.
That's right. Breton, you notice that the blade has changed. It is now lit with glowing runes. On like the hilt. All blood red. And it seems like it says something. And as you look at it, the longer you look at it, the runes begin to shift. And they kind of translate for you.
Can I read it?
Breton can definitely read it. Hold on. Wait. One must become hollow to guard the hollow way. To become hollow is to know... once you become hollow, you will know how to guide the way. You can open the gates and close them at will until a master bids you for ill. One will replace you as the hollow. Your long-lost soul will remain with us, because you will power the hollow way, in death, in hollow, and light in day. Give me an insight check, Breton.
You asked for an insight check? Nobody's rolling insight check.
From you.
Yes, from you.
For me specifically, I apologize.
You've read this.
That's a 9.
I think this is an inspiration usage situation.
I mean, I've already used one reroll. I'll use another one. It did not work so well for us last time, but I will... That's a 7.
You don't get the full ins and outs of it, but it's safe to assume that from the wording that whoever becomes a hollow isn't killed, their soul is taken, and their vessel becomes the hollow. And then the hollow is subservient to those around them. It doesn't necessarily say anything about truly willing, in terms of, you get the impression that there's nothing here that says they need to know the full ins and outs of what they're doing, or there's nothing it doesn't sound like there's enough binding spell here to say, this person wasn't willing to open the gate and become a hollow, therefore it doesn't work. The hollow is an entity that takes over the vessel of someone. But
So we can just find Bob McDemonface, stab him in the gut, and he'll become our hollow.
you know,
Or the hollow will inhabit his corpse.
yes, you would, from what you get from it, the demon would have to stab himself, but he doesn't need to know what he's doing, if that makes sense. There's room for trickery here, if that's the line you wanted to go. But what is clear is whoever would do this would probably be lost and no take backsies unless you found a way to get its soul back from whatever is the power behind this hollow.
I'm not willing to do that to any of our companions.
has to be somebody who is willing to do so themselves. Otherwise,
Find a
it's
way to
not.
trick a demon.
Going to be a trade one way or the other. I mean, there's a city of devils over the horizon, and if we were to offer one of them the chance that they would be in control of this, like, would it be true? Because apparently the only thing it takes to remove the control is to draw the blade from the chest that kills them, and then another person has to take on the role.
Is the rules of devilry in Elendor's cosmology the same as D&D's, where they're all the devils are looking for ways to become the next tier of devil?
Yes, pretty much. It's not quite the same, but yeah, there is a lot of that. And in
Would
the same way
Valymr
that devils
know
and
that?
demons also had a big war eternally. Yeah, I think Valymr would know enough about that.
We could try and trick a devil by saying that this is a way to ascend to the next level of devilhood. That I don't care about lying to a devil to get what I want. That's not something that is going to make me lose any sleep. I think if we can maybe try and do something like that, that's a whole, pardon the pun, hell of a lot more appealing to me than sacrifice.
Even one person making a noble sacrifice and saying, "I will do this for the army."
I would refuse that.
I feel like there might be some credit now still going to that city. It's
I
pretty
agree.
close to this portal. Just to see if any of them know who built this, and by extension, if the soul of an individual who offers himself up as the Hollow is taken by something or someone, whoever built this portal is presumably who has control over that, because we can always get their soul back for them in the future once this is all said and done. It's another option.
Of the people that came with us in the army, how were there any? I know there were some paladins, but were there any other magic users?
You have that cleric?
So I'm thinking someone, would any of them be able to cast some kind of disguising spell? So we disguise ourselves as devils or something aligned.
That is a interesting idea, but depending on how powerful the devils are in that settlement, very well known for being able to see through illusions.
I'm not looking to entangle ourselves with any higher level devil. Those will be harder to trick anyway. I'm looking for somebody who's looking for a step up. A devil that is down on his luck.
What about a conjured creature?
Generally, conjured creatures do have souls, but you would still be sacrificing it. Is that preferable to the alternative of trying to trick a devil?
Summoned a water elemental, or somebody in this camp presumably could do so. I mean, I don't know.
Actually, being the expert in other extraplanar creatures, do water elementals have souls?
Not in the same sense that the humanoid would.
Yeah, so we would need some.
Essence.
Presumably,
they have life essence. Doesn't mean they have a soul.
We would need something that, upon death, passes on to the outer planes.
Yeah.
Is something that would do that.
Well, I technically have something for that, but I will never do it. And that's summon a phoenix spirit.
I don't think that would also qualify. Phoenixes don't pass through the outer planes when they die. Yeah, it does not go to a god or a devil or someplace like that. It would not. No, you would need something that follows the, not necessarily humanoid, but the natural cycle of life and death, rather than its soul or whatever it is follows something
Seems
else.
servant.
The servant doesn't have a soul. I mean, I would say if anyone here could conjure a devil, theoretically that would be a thing that could work.
I don't. That's all.
Actually, I don't even. At that point, I don't know if a devil has a soul.
I think they do. That's the whole point, right?
They're created from souls, though, right? They're not themselves souls.
They were souls transformed by the power of the.
Yeah.
I would say they're souls, because if you kill a devil in the overworld, they will go to the hells.
This is the same for a water elemental. If a water elemental is destroyed on the material plane, it returns to the elemental plane of water, because that is where its essence exists. It's not a soul they possess, it's the essence of their being is attached to a plane of existence. That's why mortal souls are so valuable, because they are free and open to be malleable into other things.
The way I've always seen souls is like they're on the divine hierarchy, from gods to mortals to devils, that way, and then elementals are completely outside of that system. Is, I don't know, a way of I've looked at it, but I don't know how true it is in this sense.
The cynic within you, my paladins, would go, there's no way the devils or demons that built this would make it so that they couldn't fuel it off of their enemies.
That's a fair assessment. There's no way a demon wouldn't take advantage of a devil to do this, so
yeah.
With this being such a construction, this feels more devilish to me than demonic, or maybe built in tandem, but there's definitely, it feels devilish in construction, at least. If
you were to date this, which you can kind of do, it's War for the Heaven period.
So is it carbon dating, bone dating? What type of dating are we using, Midge?
Historical evidence of construction, and especially you two who have been doing a lot of reading in some very sacred libraries. Actually, all of you have been doing a lot of passing reading in sacred libraries. This would be like,
some understand it better than others, but
this would be war, because there's also an interjection of there's Nullian stuff, there is like abyssal stuff, there is infernal stuff. This is War for the Heavens period, so where the Shadow Alliance was, all evil was like working together. There's no way that this was built any time before this, because otherwise you would not see a keyboard, essentially, or a runic board that had both languages on it. They'd be so against that.
That's fair.
It's like a case of, no, get off of me. Don't you dare corrupt me, you filth.
So, with that knowledge and the understanding that this construction seems like it actually might be devilish rather than demonic.
Quite possibly.
That means whoever's soul would be offered up as the hollow holder would go to a devil, not a demon.
Quite possibly.
This just seems like more and more I feel like we just need to go to the city and ask some questions.
I agree. Doubly so if we can disguise as devil. I feel like I've got half of that down already. But
listen, Ruby's got the fire thing. She could definitely pass for a devil if she had the right illusions or makeup. You have the horns. Breton just gestures to himself. If you think they're not going to sniff out something like me off immediately, I don't know what to tell you.
Put on a hood and a mask.
I am literally carrying a divine blade on my back. I don't know how well I can hide that.
Bag of holding that shit.
War loot.
Not a fucking chance. We actually don't. We have a bag of holding, not a bag of holding.
So you grab it, it's a cold iron holy sword, like...
You hear a small, like, polite cough.
Yeah, we turn to the Duchess who is still here.
Yeah, I would say, I did not bring you here to do this. Please don't think that. No idea, and I'm not having you do this. Don't even offer.
Well, what I was going to say, with my knowledge of how it's been written about the war, the alliances, etc., etc. The various forces now hate each other again, for one thing. But they are all beholden to the will of the hero. In some way, to have listened, kind of, to the magics. Yes, some were banished, but some, even on the side of evil, went willingly initially, and essence of the hero is they're great. The person that defeated them, you might be able to swan in there, for lack of a better term, considering you carry the Blade of Equilibrium and many vestiges of the holy relics, and they might just be kowtowed to you slightly.
You know, that's a fair point, especially when you consider devils are beings of law and order. They need the rules of the universe to apply as much as anyone, otherwise they cannot make their bargains or their contracts. The fabric of reality breaking down to the point where all of those deals might actually become null and void would be a really bad time for them.
Null and Void would be such a good episode title.
That's a fantastic finale.
Yeah. Oh.
You gotta write that one down, Midge. Don't forget that one. You gotta write that one down. It stands. I think going there, even if we don't have a means to disguise ourselves, going to this Devil City, I don't think it's a problem. We are not demons. We are not the enemies that they are prepared to fight on this plane. If we do not come there with animosity towards what they're doing, then we may be able to exchange information, and it may not cost us anything. We may be able to just say, listen, we're here to cause significant problems for the demons. You can help us with that, and we'll cause more problems. We want to understand what happened here. We want a means to open it. And it won't take us too far out of our way.
I agree. I want to take Nina back to the camp first. I'm not leaving her here with no reason.
Do you guys want to rest before you go, or are you just going to start going?
Breton stopped off, because I don't think we've actually done anything since we woke up this morning, other than these minor investigations. He's taken a little bit of damage, but we also had a lot of temporary hit points, so he's fine.
I've expended a minor resource. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sorry, you were going to say I don't... What, Mitch?
Yeah, no, I don't think you have. I was trying to remember. Yeah, it was the day before that you fought.
No, because we wrecked those centaurs right before the camp was resting for the evening.
Yep, and then
so we are good to go.
Marched another day, and it is the end towards the end of what you think a day would be.
So again, let's get in here, potentially expend the resources we need, and then sleep again, because we just keep on doing that.
Okay. Right. Let's take our midpoint break here. And when we come back, we will begin our journey to the Devil City. So join us in 10 minutes' time, and we'll see you in a moment. Hey, come here a minute. Do you need royalty-free music for your TTRPG content, whether that be a YouTube video, stream, TikTok, Instagram post? Don't worry, we've got you covered. My name's Alex, I've been a content creator for almost a decade now, and I've teamed up with my good friend Harry to produce 10 royalty-free songs for you to use in your content completely for free. We've tried to make a whole range of motifs with this album, covering happy music to sad music, to mystery music to combat music. And if this takes off, you know what? We might even make some more. So give the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 a shot. It's free to stream everywhere, and if you want the high quality downloads, you can come over to our Patreon and download them, or you can contact me directly at tabletop@themidgemansworld.co.uk as a creator, and I'll just give it to you for free. That's it, there's no catch, and just to prove it, we've also given you guys a user license agreement to prove that you have the complete perpetual rights to use this content. So enjoy, and good luck on your next adventure.
Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighbouring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Dre Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope from the brain that's wrestled and riddled with madness. A radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can dutifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss, Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get an extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click, an emotion so small that it could endlessly amount possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support art. Support the component cast.
The freaking way that they just came in with everybody missed the reason for Lambert's laughing, but Lambert we entered with you laughing, but anyway. Okay.
That was so perfectly timed. I'm gonna take credit for that one.
Yeah.
That's
we
worth
learned now.
inspiration.
We've learned that when Midge stops counting down, that's when the mics go live, and we shouldn't be talking anymore. So you got to get in just before that.
Yeah. We go live on 3, guys.
Well,
Why do we go live on 3?
because it's about coordinating audio with visual. The timing
Cool.
is for
I
more
don't
than
do
just
audio
you.
or visual in my videos, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That is also the reason. That is what Lake is currently perfecting. Is the same thing that Travis Willingham has perfected with Critical Role, which is to get a joke in right as the live happens to throw everybody off or make someone else say something. Anyway, you guys return to camp together, I guess. To return Nina and grab any last things that you need to before heading out to this unknown devil city.
We're also going to update the leadership of what is going on. Though Nina was here and she knows, and she could also pass it on. But we're going to do this because we're professionals. Damn it!
Oh yeah, that's right there.
2 seals of the gate have been opened. 1 more to go. That gate requires a sacrifice. A sacrifice we are not comfortable asking any man, woman, or individual in this camp to make. We're going to make our way towards the city in the distance. We're going to see what we can learn about this gate, see if we can't find an alternative to opening it, and make our way back soon. Best case scenario, we should only be gone a day. Worst case scenario, we'll be gone 2 days. If we are not back in 2 days, you'll know why.
Elwyn kind of just nods and says, "It is fine. It is better that we rest the army for a couple of days. Let the people who got sick fully get over things. Take stock if anything's happened to supplies. Sharpen weapons. We could be going into a fight on the other side, so mustering properly will take some time. Also defend this location. We don't know what's going to come through the gate, if anything."
Very prescient.
If the gate does open and anything does start to come through it, he kind of looks around. Contact us immediately.
He nods.
I think we can agree. Whatever we are doing with those in that city is going to be fairly important, but we do not want to let anything come through that can jeopardize the army's placement or its contingency. We want to be here to help prevent that.
Rosalinda just looks and says, "I have sending prepared today. Contact me if you need to relay a quick message, and I will do the same to you if anything happens."
I'm also now realizing, God, Breton's got a really bad case of a helicopter boss. Like, he trusts that you are capable of doing what you need to do, but he's always going to be hovering over to make sure that you're doing the job right. Clearly he cares too much.
Yeah. You've come this far, you don't want things to go wrong either.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to have to trust them to do it on their own eventually. There's no need to force them to do it on their own until then. We need to make sure they're as fresh as possible.
Precisely. Okay.
Yeah.
How are you proceeding?
I suppose by teleportation.
Are you going to try and teleport over there? Or...
Why do you make it sound like it's a...
This is going to be a long shot, Midge. I want to ask this before we go, because obviously this is the last opportunity to look around the camp and do it. Amongst the forces that are serving here, amongst the many kings of the Nardathel, obviously we have Havaré here, we've got everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of these knightly orders, do any of them have associations with, I'm not going to say pacts with devils, but I mean the lawful and understanding and working of devils, just to the point where they might be useful coming with us?
Oh.
Like if we need better workings of how to, politely and properly navigate those situations. If there are any knights who, like, they serve the Nardathel, but they do so under, like, the lawful evil mentality of devils do this way, like, that they might be useful to have.
Sure.
Or even someone like that has an oath. Like your oath is about other planar beings, but it doesn't mean you're aligned with them.
My
You're
oath
against
is,
them.
the material's ours. Get the fuck off.
Yeah. If there's somebody who has an oath of we're gonna get the devils the fuck away, not necessarily aligned, but just knowledgeable about.
Yeah, it seemed like it might be a shot. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Nardathel's a pretty lawful place. Devils are pretty lawful. Like, you don't have to be evil to work with devils. You just gotta know the.
Give me a D20 roll. Unmodified.
Flat
This is
D20.
going to be a luck roll.
Sure. I love rolling luck. The way I do it in my games, and that's a terrible roll, is I have my players roll it, and that's the DC that I now have to roll under for them to get what they want. That's the way I do my luck checks. I think that's fun. It's a 4, by the way, for those listening at home.
Yeah. And I like the cut of your jib. So, you know what? For the shits and giggles, I'm going to roll a D20.
Yeah. So that way, if the players get a 20 and you get a 20, it sucks for them because the tie beats it. But if they get a 1 and you get a 1, that's the only number they can use.
Yeah. So, you're somewhat in luck. One of the orders is that's here with you is actually one of the specialist orders that came from the capital, because as you know, there's forces that have been donated by each kingdom, but also some came from the capital, which are normally the more unaffiliated orders. It's where, for example, you got your cleric from, etc., etc. There is an order by the name of the shorthand of it is they go by the Serenity, but the full order title is something along the lines of the Custodians of Peace, Serenity, Tranquility, and Harmony, but amongst the knowledge and preservers of the realm.
I'll never remember that.
But everyone hates that, so they just call them the Serenity. You have a group of 10 members of the Serenity with you, and one of their order happens to be a demonologist.
A demonologist, not a devilologist.
It's one of those things of layman's
Actually, would it be devilologist or would it be infernologist? Because that sounds so much better.
Well, do you know what? I will call it an infernologist because that sounds better. Calling it an infernologist and abyssologist.
Abyssologist.
So we'll go an infernologist.
Diabolist.
Yes.
Diabolist.
Diabolist is would that be devils or demons? I think that'd be devils, right?
I'm not sure.
Diablo is the devil. Yeah.
I mean,
but also
it
it
goes
depends.
both.
It also
Well, you wouldn't have a field that would be that broad because
Exactly,
demons and devils are very different.
Exactly, and there's the difference
the-
of canonical law compared to the various
Christian.
devil worship. Yeah, it's Christian denomination versus real
Christian
denomination.
denomination. Devils and demons are not distinguished in Christian denominations.
Exactly.
So we have infernologist, abyssologist, and diabolist. Diabolist study the biblically accurate devils and demons.
No, a diabolist. That's your undergrad, and then you specialize into infernologist or abyssologist for
I
your
like to
master.
think of it
What did you
more-
take as your major?
I like to think of it more like this. I could speak Aquan, I could speak Terran, I could speak what's the fire one?
Orin
Ignis?
and Ignan.
Or I could just speak Primordial and get them all.
But they're actually an order of peace more than anything. They're like an oath of peace, which like a lot of the paladins are like oath of peace, peace clerics, etc. That's why they they tend to lean into knowledge and understanding and learning languages and customs and stuff because they're trying to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. However, part of peace also comes with the order and balance of the universe. And right now, bigger fish, like sometimes it's within the scope of their order to undertake this mission because it is peacekeeping in the UN sense.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna keep the peace, cock shotgun.
It is peacekeeping
Anyways.
in the former Yugoslavia sense.
Sure. Do we have a name with which we can properly address this individual
Sure.
who is the lead knight of, or the highest attending ranked knight in this Order of Serenity?
So, the individual. So, yeah, hold on, 2 seconds. So the order head that is here is E-L-Y-E. I'm not sure how you'd say that out loud.
Yel?
Elil.
Eliel. He's the
E-Y-L-E. Yel? Yeah,
that's the order leader. He's a paladin. He's one of the paladins that's you've vaguely met him because he's also one of the ones that could mount a flying creature, and he came with you on that.
We brought an order of peace on an aerial bombing preemptive strike. Oh God!
That's it. UN version of peacekeeping.
Yep. No. The less we say about that, the better.
I have opinions.
But he points you to their infernologist, which is a man by the name of Angel.
Ironic. Well,
it's Angel, but
Angel, yeah, Angil. Where does he derive from? Accents in the Nardathel.
He's Central Fionian, so he would be Spanish.
So would it be Angil or Angil?
What? I think it'd be Angel, wouldn't it? In Spanish.
Angel, sure, Angel.
Yeah, it's Angel. Yeah. He says Angel is one of our cultural embassies for this kind of. You said it's devils, yes? Even though we're on an abyss plane.
It seems to be, yes. Maybe it's a hold of a settlement for whoever built this gate, or something that has just existed since the early wars for the heavens, and they just never got ousted by the demons. Which is a curious thing to consider in our dealings here.
Angel, he goes, Angel, come over. And you see this individual. He's got very bronze olive skin. He's completely clean shaven. He's got a kind of a Roman nose going on. And then deep black, deep brown, thick eyebrows and hair. But he wears a breastplate and pauldrons over a long, almost like wizard's robe, but with split leg. And then he has a hood that he's wearing, and under that hood you see a coif of chainmail. So it's kind of think kind of like battle monk looking. And he's got so it's gorget, chest plate, pauldrons, and then robe. So he's probably medium armor, you would say. Doesn't look to be if you were to say anything, you would say he'd look more like a cleric, but he doesn't seem to be magical in any way. He's just a man with understanding. He also has both a backpack and a side satchel, all of which seem to be filled with tomes and other things.
We take this guy with us and we lose him, it's not going to be because of combat. I tell you that right now. Somebody's going to tell this guy or offer this guy something. He's going to be like, you know what, that seems reasonable, and let's just make sure that doesn't happen. So Angio, we are going to be potentially in need of one of your specific expertise of knowledge on this expedition. Are you willing to come with us, knowing that full well this may be extremely dangerous?
If it is in aid of peace, I offer you my services. It is what I signed up for.
It is a step to the path of saving the known world, my friend.
Then let it be done. I am... also, I am not a sir. While I am of noble blood, I was never knighted. So please, just come
Very well.
again.
Everyone who comes back from this expedition, they'll be knighted.
How loud do you say that? Because we've got a couple hundred people here.
Including
I'll
a
say it
couple
out
of people
loud.
that are basically peasants.
I'll say it out loud.
Listen, if there's any time to establish yourself in the new regime, it's at the end of the old regime. Breton will just kind of reassure and grip on his shoulder. In the process, I'm going to cast Death Ward on this guy just to make sure that he does not just get killed as we step through the gates.
How does Death Ward work again?
Death Ward. Death Ward's a wonderful little spell that I'll go ahead and
Yeah, go
put in
for
chat there. It simply reads, it's vocal and somatic. It lasts 8 hours. You protect a creature and granted a measure of protection from death. The first time the target will drop to 0 hit points as a result of taking damage. It instead drops to 1 hit point and the spell ends. If the spell is still in effect when the target is subjected to an effect that would kill it instantaneously without dealing damage, that effect is instead negated against the target and the spell ends. Essentially, he's just trying to make sure that nothing is going to kill this guy when we're not looking, without us having a chance to say, stop it.
Fair enough.
And, we're high enough level now where, what, I can throw a 4th level at this guy, just
Sure.
we'll be fine. I don't need that 4th level, I think we'll be okay.
I haven't cast 4th levels.
It's so weird to me that you've multi-classed so much, because it's Warlock and Paladin, you've missed all the higher level spell slots, but you've got so much other shit you can do. Alright.
Okay.
Ruby?
Are you ready to go?
I think we're as prepared as we're going to get.
Well, then let's try to make this easy as I can. And she will pull out the staff. On 3. 1,
Breton
2,
will-
click.
Silverill's coming with us, I'm establishing right now.
Okay.
All right.
We're bringing the flying mount. Do you also want to bring Miss Havaray's Pegasus? So we have 2 flying mounts.
Not without her permission. I'll ask permission first.
Permission is not a bad thing, yes. Because with that, we have technically 6 creatures, which falls within the realm for how much can teleport.
Yep. Yeah, it's up to 8 willing creatures.
Mm-hmm.
She sighs and says, just bring her back in one piece.
Absolutely.
So this would be a scene casually teleport roll. You're not very familiar with the place, but I would say at this point, it's within the realms of seen casually rather than viewed once. So it's 1 to 33 on a mishap, 34 to 43 similar area, 44 to 53 just off target, 54 and above on target. So give me a D100 roll, please, Ruby.
59.
Just about. Whereabouts were you aiming for then?
Just outside the outskirts of the city.
Okay.
Within
I
a...
do the math on this now. Hold on. No, go ahead and finish. I want to do the mental math on teleport.
Within like 100 feet of the gates.
Okay, cool. That's essentially exactly where you are placed. What you see in front of you are these almost basalt black stone walls of a very fine craft. They're probably about 20-foot stone walls. Not sure how thick. All of which seem to be, again, written and lined with scripture and runes that subtly hum. The gate is closed, and there does seem to be an entity at the front of it in armor. from where
I
you
am
are
going
sat.
to extend cast. Why don't we have 1 4th level spell slot but 2 5ths? What the hell? Shut up, dog. That's.
But
I'm
you,
gonna cast
Be alright.
Fire Shield.
but you
on me.
all land. And Gel just goes, "Wow, this is magnificent. I am."
No, this is,
No,
this is Patrick.
it's
Within contextually, this is a very old settlement, and it is unique to still see one with its wardings intact.
Do you know how this settlement came to be here? You know its purpose?
Yes, by the looks of it, and he also turns back to kind of point to where he like gets a lay of the land, pointing with. I'm guessing because of the portal, this is, how do you say it? This would be a small trade village, by the looks of it, trade town. You have main military installation, the castle we are going towards through the portals and the portal connectivity. This would be what constitutes a road, and I'm guessing in the time of the shadows, when they were all working together, this was a colonial trade venture to, whether it be resupply or whatnot. But this one's intact, and well, they've updated their wards to be anti-demon, so that would explain why it's alive.
The gate, as this was pointed out to us.
Yeah.
The gate isn't just one portal. It's a major portal with lots of smaller portals. It's a nexus gate. It can be used to go basically anywhere they want. So they set up a trade adventure in the Abyss with the ability to teleport to any plane that they wanted.
Or something from those select few.
Which further suggests that they might have somebody here who knows better how to manipulate it. If these individuals were expected to use it frequently.
Ooh.
We lost Beth.
We did lose Beth.
That might have been her internet. Ah, she's back.
Sorry about that. Internet went, "What, I'm out!"
No problem.
I'm sorry, Kirk.
He goes, maybe. I would hazard guess. He looks over as well. It's like, I'm very glad that you brought Lord Valymr here with us.
I think we all just turned to look at Valymr.
I was never planning to stay behind.
Well, I'm just saying.
Do you want to ask, or should I?
I think it's the horns.
Valymr here seems to be a Ruakos, of Ruakos blood. This is, we have an individual over there of, more immortal lineage. But these are not, pointing, that individual there is not the devil.
Actually, he says that. I'm going to take his word for it, but I'm also going to do the thing. Divine Sense?
What's the range of Divine Sense?
Oh my god,
60
you're in
feet.
hell, dude. Won't that kill you? You're in hell. Or the Abyss. Everything is terrible.
Yeah, have you ever accidentally seen one of those flashbang memes? You've just done that to yourself.
I understand that, but it's like, I'm still looking, it's like, he said he's not infernal. It's like, sure, is that individual not a fiend?
Does that individual have white hair, or are they also Ruoskov, or are they?
No. He explains. It's hard to tell with the armor, but the shape of their tail.
Suddenly gets very self-conscious about my tail.
Give me 2 minutes. I need to get my
Are their horns a little bit longer? Is the tail a little bit fatter? Like,
Valymr has a pointed tail towards the end. This one has like a mallish tail. But it looks of it.
He's a hammerhead tiefling.
You know what? Yes, we'll call it that.
remember, like 35 minutes ago, guys, a little bit before break, we were still trying to figure out how to get to this fucking gate, and now it's just making jokes about tieflings. D&D is great, isn't it? D&D is fantastic. Everybody loves it. It's wonderful. Well, let's go say hi. No need to sit here and beat around the bush. As well, let us from the city or not, one way or the other. Actually, Breton looks around and realizes, I think I'm the only person in this group that doesn't speak Abyssal, which means I'm probably going to be the only person here who doesn't. You don't, or sorry, Infernal. I don't speak Infernal.
Okay.
Which means I'm probably going to be sitting there and just nodding for the most of this.
Yes, they would be of Dath's bloodline.
I can speak Infernal.
Do I know who Dath is?
Do I know who Dath is?
Do I know who Dath is?
Make a history or religion check. Religion is a lower DC.
I like religion. I'll roll religion.
History or religion? And...
It's 14 to 16 and a...
I got an 18 history.
I got 16 religion.
With the 16 religion, you know that Dath was a... he was the archdevil. He's an archdevil of deals and greed. Makes sense for a trade city.
Mm-hmm. Setting up enterprises.
It's just good business.
And if you like the tagline, we'll answer tomorrow for Tuesdays.
Yeah, Dath Avaria.
That's canon now. You just made that canon, Midge.
Dath Avaria is like, oh, what's the...
Don't cross the streams.
Omni-Radiance Corps?
Omni-Radiance Holdings Incorporated. I'm pretty sure is what it's called.
A family company.
It's a family company. You know what? I like to think Dath pitches himself like, listen, we're a large family here.
You know, you just gotta work. It's like, you don't
speak like Raphael. All devils speak like Raphael.
Yeah. Anyway, it's by Dath.
Or Zarbon, as I refer to him, but anyway.
Anyway.
I went straight to DBC. But yes, anyways, on topic.
You approach?
Yes. Yeah. Breton taking up the rear, because again, I'm the only person here who doesn't speak Infernal, so not going to be super useful on this one. I'll watch the mounts.
But I can speak Infernal.
Like I said, you can. Valymr can. I'm assuming this guy who's an Infernalist speaks it. I'm the only one who doesn't.
I will hail in Infernal. He's holding, like, he is the gate guardian keeper.
So he stood in like center of the road in front of the gate. You get the impression that he might have been being a little lazy before you guys appeared in front of him, but it's like he's there. Seems to have like a really gnarly Zweihander that he's like leaning on the blade of. Full plate. You can't see their face, and it's in like a great helm. But they hold up their hand. You said you reached out in Infernal?
Yeah.
He responds as like, state your business.
Well, we're here for trade, of course.
Proof of wealth.
Ruby holds up a finger and it starts glowing green. I don't need to prove anything to you. Move or be moved.
Make an intimidation check.
That's a 28.
Well, okay, just so you know, we accept most otherworldly currencies. If you need to make an exchange, go to the bank. I apologize for anything mortal currency-wise tends to be at half what you would find the normal value above. For general inquiries, head to the town square. You'll find the crier, and if you're looking, he like goes into he coughs and goes into a different voice. If you're looking for apparel, knives, and more, come down to Zach's bargain basement. Bargain weapons and armor for the best prices for any weary traveler of the abyss. Now now for an all eternity half off sale. Okay. And he then
That was pathetic.
I had to recover there. I'm sorry.
he then shouts up. Hail Azush! Yes, you can open up. They're traders. Please have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Walk past.
And the gates open.
I'm
Inside.
glad I wasn't privy to that conversation. Anyways. What malevolent beings! We must be on guard!
You noticed your cultural emissary tip the gate guard. And then continues and walks in. So Angel, Angel, tips the gate guard and then walks in with you.
Get out. Get out. Get out.
And in front of you, you see what amounts to a normal town. There's a hustle and bustle. You see both street traders and you see various relatively it's identifiable as a town. Sure, the construction's kind of dark, there's a lot of black stone or dark red stone, maybe hewn from the ground here. There's a lot of street carts with vegetables or foods, do you think, of various unknown variety, but this looks to be a generally normal village. It seems the street, it's kind of circular, and by circular I mean really circular, and the roads seem to be like curved loop rings with then spokes, main streets into a center of town. And everyone around seems to be tieflings. It seems to be a lot of half devils or lesser devil kin that you don't you're looking at this as that's not a devil lord kind of thing. There's not. It's all citizenry. There also doesn't seem to be guards on the streets. All the guards seem to be at the walls or the gates. There's no inner patrols or anything.
What are the odds that this place has some form of warding?
What?
Well, obviously, they have wards on the outside to keep the demons out, but the guards are on the outside, presumably to help the wards. Devils are very lawful beings. They follow the course, rhyme, and reason of what they should be doing. I'm curious if there are magical wards within the city that prevent things like thievery and violence. that you commit such acts as that, and it won't be the gods that get you. It'll be the city themselves. And say, do either of you want to see if you actually? I guess Breton can do it. Breton will do it because I forget. I'm a mage. I have detect magic as a paladin, which is weird. Breton will cast detect magic.
Sure.
And just kind of like examining the year itself. We've been to, we've been to the Reynard family Isle. We've been to the Keep of the Dardathel. We've seen places that have ambient magical wards in place. Does this city have something like that in place on the interior?
Yeah. As you detect magic and as you walk slightly subtly into the city itself, because the main gate closes behind you once you've been.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you also notice that people really don't pay many mind to you. Like, it's not like, oh, outsiders. It's like, every now and then you just get like, as any trader would be like, oh, fresh fruit kind of thing. Like, but at random citizens really don't care. But you do pick up warding. And you pick it up in the fact that the actual city's layout is a ward. The circular pattern, the roads, the paths, they map similar movements you would need to do for a ward spell.
Can we tell what kind of spell?
A ward spell.
Yeah, just identify the city as we've established. Listen, we've made some jokes about objects versus structures. A city is not an object.
Yeah.
Is a planet an object?
What about a dwarf planet?
Pluto's still out there
I would've
fucking
mined it
seething.
all out.
Okay.
But yeah.
So wards in place. Can't tell if it's reinforcing wards for the outside to ensure that no demons can get into the city now, but if the city itself was built with this construction in mind, I have to assume these are separate wards from the ones outside.
Mm-hmm.
Without being able to ask somebody or specifically identify them, I would say that let's not do anything that would go against the perceived laws of this city, lest it come back to cost us in the long run. But you look towards Anguille. Any more you could tell us about that? I mean, you seem to recognize what this place was and its purpose.
Yes. Of course. This place would be how do you say it? Neutral land. For the shadows. When the alliance was held, it was tenuous at all times. Even when the armies marched together, one slip, one scene slight, you could end up with a brawl. People would they were unruly. But also, you needed to remember that many of the races and peoples we know today that live their lives in the various kingdoms we have were indentured to the armies of the shadows. It was not just immortals that fought in those wars. They had foot soldiers. They needed to live. They had lives. They had, while pitiful, they had an existence that required normacy. So a place like this would often crop up. It's beautiful to see one intact. To know that this is here, when all is said and done, if this is still accessible, this is very valuable to the stuff that I would learn and what my order stands for. But yes, this would be seen as neutral ground, and they would often have laws put in place to make sure that remained.
Let's assume that as long as we act civilly, we should be fine.
I would expect so. There would also normally be, if as I'm looking at the heritage of the individuals living in the city, I'm seeing a lot of Dathian descent, which would probably mean that the mayor of the city is a devil under them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a trader of some sort. Maybe the bank owner.
considering who runs this place and the hire, that would not probably be too far off. Do we want to look into? Do we want to go straight to the source at the top, or do we want to see if we can't maneuver around some of the minor individuals here and just see if we can't find it? A lesser devil that might know what we're looking for. I'm assuming that the higher up on the totem pole we go, the higher the price that might have to be paid for the information we're looking for. And
I would say that Dathians are also known to deal in secrets as well, so you've got the coin.
Would it be double the price with our above-world coin?
Yes, unless you have something of great value from elsewhere.
it depends on what secrets we would be willing to share. But in the long run, let's see what we can find out before we worry about what we're going to have to promise it. All right. So yeah, let's just start making our way through the city. I think that's a safe bet. Looking for, like I said, this place is a city. It has stalls that are selling fruits and vegetables, miscellaneous jewelry, just anything that you would find just walking through a normal town. But I guess we're looking for the things that stand out, where it's like, this is literally an information broker, or something that affects like a business that looks like that. So we need somebody who knows about a portal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. How long would you like to spend just walking the streets? And when I say city, it's not a city. It is probably closer to a small town now that you're here.
You said the population of this place was
1,000,
estimated
2,000.
1,000 or 2,000. Yeah, it wouldn't take us very long at all to research. And we teleported right on target, so we're literally 5 minutes out from when we left. We're not bad on time.
No, not
the army needs to rest a day regardless.
Very much so, yeah. They've been forced marching essentially, but like they've been resting, but they've been day-to-day marching since you got here through the abyss. Like, it is what it is. Sure. You pick out from. Also, it really helps that you have a cultural emissary and that you have people who can read Infernal, because you pick out a couple of taverns, 2 in fact. You do cite the bank. It is also, the bank is in the center of the town square. It is a circular building, and it is probably the most illustrious looking building. It's almost spire-like. And it might actually, now you're looking at it, it might have been one of the towers you spotted, like when you did your initial perceptions. But it kind of, from the angle, might have looked like an external tower, but it's actually in the center. You also pick up some interesting shops. One of them happens to be a magic shop, or a magic broker. You also see an area where it looks to be like a post office.
Okay, sure.
I can work with the post office.
And Gail basically goes, if anyone is to have information, it is the person dealing with the mail.
You'd be right on that, Gail, but there's also something that I've noticed that I feel it might actually be worth a shot. As a Valymr, I mean, I'm sure you saw it too. Where there's a tavern, there's a bar. Where there's a bar,
we can call on our friendly bard. He might actually be quite impressed that we're calling him from somewhere different this time. I can't get much more different than this.
I mean, I don't know what information he can provide us, but he seems to know a little bit about everything. So any free information he can provide us in this area seems like it'll be worth its weight in Electrum.
On a real currency.
What is what's our friend's name again?
Anguille?
Anguille.
Anguille.
Anguille, would you like to meet somebody very special indeed?
We just keep exposing more and more people to this.
You have a friend here? Why did you need me?
Oh, I have friends everywhere. So he's
where everybody knows your name.
The bar.
also might be a good opportunity to see what sort of booze they have down here. I don't know what cooking specifications that would do for you, Ruby, but I mean, this is a place that is living in the abyss. Presumably, they've got to have something curious or interesting down here.
I know you're
You're torn because on one hand you're like it's the fucking abyss, but on the other hand you're like, but you're not wrong.
I know you're playing me, but you're right. That's 2 DBZ and beverages today. Would it even taste like food though? Because everything else down here tastes like ash.
I mean, there are tieflings here, and we do enjoy food.
Okay, but the Hells don't care about that.
So,
Are you sure about that?
The you go into a tavern which its sign is like one of those. It looks like one of those centaur people that you've seen, with like a long, luscious mane.
Okay.
Cool.
We all awkwardly avoid eye contact to not share our sins with this individual.
That's the image of the sign.
Ah, okay. Next, you're going to tell me that the bar's name is the Hell Rider.
No, and you go in, and it looks to be a relatively nice place. It's got like very nice dark stone floors, counter imaged with like this like lighter grey furniture with like yellow plush cushions. There's also a there's also a nice black marbled bar. 3 individuals working it. A lot of people eating like lunch, you think, or dinner. Like it's a packed almost like restaurant at this moment in time. But peculiarly behind the bar, you see like a stuffed / mounted / taxidermied rump of one of those centaurs.
Well, the friends you keep.
And yeah, there seems to be you clock your with you meet eyes with what looks to be the main barkeep, who kind of hand up welcomes you in, and it's just he kind of looks you up and down and is like, he's taking you in as like different.
I'll go over to the bar and ask for a slide over the 3 Electrum.
He before he even looks down at the money, he goes, welcome to a lonely night on the steppe.
A lonely night on the steppe.
What can I get for you?
Nice name.
A lot posher than I would have thought here, but you know what? I guess devils are a bit posh. That's fair.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You did it to yourself.
I can't unhear it now. Every devil just talks like Raphael.
He is standard.
Or both.
And then he looks down over at your coins. It's like, been a while since I've seen one of those. This won't get you much.
Oh, I'm sure it'll get me kind of a house cider.
We don't really stock cider, but no, I can get you a fruit juice for this.
Ask him what fruit, Valymr.
What fruit?
What do we call them?
Sorry to put the DM on the spot.
So,
Hell fruit.
no, we call them pickleberry.
Looks like we won't be meeting our friend.
Frozen rainbow godchild?
God, trout.
Okay, I was like, frozen rainbow godchild? What Okay, you know what? I know devils are evil, and you know what? If you were to offer them the flesh of an Ashimar, they'd probably eat that shit up like it was candy. But the fact that that's what you said, I heard that, I'm like, you know what, Midge? We came to this place in good faith, but you may find that I suddenly just feel the Deus Vult rising up within me.
And then we have a set of fresh bottles of the Romande Reserve. It is a What date system do you use?
Time since the king that never was
Oh,
ended.
your Orisian calendar users. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is
what our calendar was.
This is a year 2300 BS vintage.
That's old AF. That's
3,000 years old.
Okay. That one, I'll have the bottle.
Sure. Hold on, I need to grab an abacus and do some calculations for mortal money. You don't happen to have blood silver, do you? This becomes much easier.
Not on us, no.
No.
Yeah. You could also go to the bank. Okay, he's like stood there for a moment. He like speaks to one of the barmaids, and she begins like prepping the thing. So you want one bottle and a meal for everybody?
I think we'll settle on the bottle for now.
Just the bottle. Hold the...
Brandon's just gonna like looking back and forth. You know, Valymr, I'm with you. Like, how can you not take the opportunity to try something like that? I can't help but feel that if we had just asked, our bard friend, that they may have been able to provide something just to the same effect for our 3 measly electrum. In fact, I think they have provided something to this effect before.
Yeah. But you gotta when the opportunity arises.
That would be 1,000 of your earthly mortal gold pieces.
Does Valymr look at his pockets for a second and then just turn and look at the rest of us?
I have it. I will give how much? How much was it again? 1,000.
1,000 gold.
1,000 gold? Oh, just 1,000. Okay. I will give him 1,000 gold.
Jesus Christ. He gives you this.
The resale value on a 3,500-year-old bottle.
This
is astronomical.
But because we pay mortal money, you just pay double market price.
Sure, I still think I'm thinking of the markup.
You're gonna get back to the material world and be like, listen, I can sell you this for 1 gold per year that this has been aged.
You see, he brings out this like almost champagne bottle of this. The bottle itself is like it's a brown glass. But inside, the liquid looks like a subtle yet brilliant white silver.
Okay. And so, Ruby, would you mind storing this in the bag of colding?
But also, this would be a like a Salmanazar size bottle. So this is like 12 bottles of wine worth.
Ooh. You just bought the equivalent of a keg wine pedal. Yeah. Like this is the comical champagne bottles they serve at like really ritzy parties. It's like, yeah, you can't possibly drink all the champagne, but it's really funny, isn't it?
I am far too northern to know what the fuck that looks like.
I don't know if this is gonna fit in my bag of colding.
Hang on, let me get you a handy dandy guide of wine sizes.
All right, Mr. Bouge.
I mean, is it over 500 pounds? It can fit inside.
It's basically 12 wine bottles.
9 liters of wine.
That's a substantial amount, but it's not 500 pounds worth. So
no, it's not that big.
It's 9 liters of wine.
That is, by my calculation,
I didn't know bottles of wine had such interesting names.
19. It's 13.
Why is the 15-liter word Nebuchadnezzar?
I mean,
What
if
the
you got
fuck?
the chance to name something,
So it's
it worked in the Matrix.
From smallest to largest, it's spit, piccolo, half,
Split.
standard.
I think it's a split.
Sorry, split, piccolo, half, standard, magnum, double magnum, Jeroboam, Methuselah,
That's just a name.
Salmanazar, Balthazar, Nebuchadnezzar, Melchior,
Melchior?
yeah, and then Melchizedek, and if Melchizedek isn't the demon god of wine, I don't
It is fucking now.
that just became canon in some person's home setting.
It is in mine now, I think.
That's amazing. That's so perfect.
Melchizedek.
By the way, Melchizedek is equivalent to 40 bottles. It's 30 liters of wine.
30 liters of wine.
And I mean,
Melchizedek.
clearly Melchior is the underling, right? Nebuchadnezzar, Balthazar, and Melchior are the sub-devils.
Melchizedek
And this is the thing that I find the most interesting. A standard bottle of wine is not a liter. It's 0.75.
Okay, so Melchizedek...
Just to fuck with even your weirder versions of it.
To find out where the name came from, Melchizedek
The History of Wine podcast.
was apparently was a priest and king of Salem, mentioned in Genesis in the Hebrew Bible.
Checks out. All those names did seem like they came from the Bible.
Yeah, they found it does sound very It's like, but I'm trying to find the wine connection.
Anyways, so now we have this sizable but not huge.
When he's first mentioned in Genesis, he brings out bread and wine and blesses Abraham. There you go. There's your theology, right? Real world theology. Go bye. He's now a
way less interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
now he's a demon / devil / the
wine.
patron of wine. Yeah. Anyways, so yes. So we're not going to be able to draw on our good friend here. So it looks like we're on our own. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do next. Apologies, Angil. Apparently we can't make good on our promise to introduce you to another curious figure who may have helped us out.
No,
that game didn't work out for us.
It's okay. He then turns to the bartender. Is like, what would you recommend? Someone who is trying to taste some of the local cuisine. And then he's just and he pays out of his own money and buys can I have that to go?
Do they have to-go boxes in this bar?
He does. They
Boxed wine.
Not boxed wine, but you see him get like a little, what looks to be like a hot pot of food. Looks to be some sort of
hot pot.
Looks to be some sort of dumplings in it, like a dumpling stew. And he gets handed this like odd-looking spork. Goes, oh, thank you very much.
Does it have? You say it's an odd looking spork. I need you to describe this spork to me, Midge.
So, it's like it's got a rounded bowl bit, and then two prongs that like curve with the spoon bit. So it's like almost like the pincers of a stag beetle.
Yep.
Does your spoon have tiefling horns?
Kind of.
Just be happy they're not barbed.
I've seen these before.
Look, all tiefling horns are beautiful.
What you do is you hook the curves into the top of the dumpling and you turn it so it then falls onto the spoon, and at the same time it manages to pick up some of the soup with it.
I thought it was about something like that. Yeah.
Is this what it's like? Is this what it's like being told how to use chopsticks for the first time? It's been a long time. Sorry.
You've got your souvenirs. What are we doing?
I'm wondering if we should make our way to the bank. We do have some things in our possessions that we could potentially trade in for local currency. Things that might make it a little cheaper. As Breton looks down this list of copious amounts of magical items that may have some value, that we can be like, let's just trade in this. Maybe we'll make up the difference. I assume that the bank would want to take these items and trade. We may have to go to a local business and do it. There was a magic shop that was pointed out to us. That might be a good place to look into it as well.
And culturally, he's like eating with his mouth full a little bit. Culturally, with these places, especially as they are hubs of trade, quite often the mayor will also be the head of the bank. So if you're looking for authority, it might be the place to go.
Authority is good. Let's get currency first. All right, guys. We're now officially in the shopping episode. Let's go check out the magic item shop.
Sure.
I will trade you one big ass bottle of wine for your wares.
You ring round to a couple of streets and you find what looked to be a magic shop. And you're looking at this and you're suddenly very, very confused. As you've seen a magic shop like this before.
Is it Zorp's?
It's a Zorp's Emporium.
There in front of you sits a Zorp's Emporium.
We here at Zorp's Emporium are glad to present to you the new locations that have popped up in the abyss.
Well, what looks
Scandalous.
like the Zorp's Emporium anyway. But actually, Valymr, you would notice this.
Yes.
And you notice that it says Zorp's Emporium, but instead of XZZORPS Emporium, it's ZZXORPS Emporium.
Spelled differently.
Yes.
In Infernal.
It's spelled differently.
Is this like the knockoff Zorp's Emporium? Is this
No, this is
multiversal time travel shenanigery Zorp's Emporium?
No, it's just anytime you go to buy something, they go, wah!
So, are you going in the Zorps?
Sure, why not?
Let me cue up the track from our soundtrack.
Yeah, here we go.
You go in.
Well, just on the topic of music, I currently have A Bargain with Beelzebub playing.
I know that track.
So,
the EU5 original soundtrack that we released last week.
It's very nice. Yeah, it just feels appropriate to mention.
Yeah, fair enough. You go in and you see, instead of the small little grey-coloured entities that you've noticed before, you see these like little pale blue, but they're, instead of being small and chunky, they're like long and slender. So it's like, imagine like a 3-foot like pin of blue. Still clearly a Zorp, but like it's been like, it's like a...
On a diet.
No, more like it's like been stretched. Imagine Zorps are like made of Play-Doh, and you've instead of having the ball of Play-Doh, they've kind of rolled a sausage of it. They're probably about like a half foot taller and a little bit thinner.
Okay.
And you just see, I'm gonna do that.
See, I told you. Wah.
Bakadabula.
Did he say something in Infernal, or is...
No, he's speaking Zorpish.
Don't speak that. I will respond in Infernal and say, do you speak any other tongues that we can understand?
The Zorp looks up and goes, yes, Bakadabula.
I don't know what Agadabula means. I assume welcome?
Yes, Bakadabula.
Thank you, Dabula. So,
How dare
what do you have for
Dabula?
sale?
We have fine and many wares, Bakadabula.
Agadabula, got it.
All right, hold on. Do I have tongues?
Is he spelling it? I think the last time we went to Azorf, we probably had somebody who had the tongue spell.
Does anyone here have the ability to suddenly understand what the hell this guy is saying?
Can
I
you
gotta-
write down what the fuck that said? I need it spelling out for me.
That is against my terms and conditions, Bakadabula.
Naturally. Of course.
Do you have a loyalty card?
We didn't get one last time. We didn't think we'd come back.
Darius had one last time.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they had a gold card.
No.
Very well. Have you been to Azorps or one of our many sister stores?
Yes, we went to a Zorps in Compound. They were very mean to us. They ripped us off.
I think we're looking at the rivals ops.
That sounds right, Bakadabula.
They turned me into a Zorp, and I had to free myself.
It's a fate worse than death, Bakadabula.
Shocking. Hateful people. Hateful creatures. Over there. In Compound.
Comprehend
Not here.
languages? Do I
Here's great.
comprehend languages?
The
No? Okay.
great transdimensional split of the conglomerate was a very bad time, Bakadabula.
Understandable. Yeah.
You know, I'm probably going to ask the trouble asking this. When did the transdimensional split happen?
Oh. What calendar?
Elendoran.
I think you mean Ulrisian, Bakadabula.
This thing just... You know what? That's fair.
We
were just told Ulrisian, like, Ulrisian, it's Elendor. We're from Elendor, so it's the Elendoran calendar. It's like, nope, it's Ulrisian.
Yeah.
Why do you call it Ulrisian?
Because it was
I
made.
mean, what do we call it, Ulrisian?
Because you call it Ulrisian because it was written by Ulfric the Bard Scholar, the guy that you were trying to.
Ulrich. Oh, alright. I in my head I spelled it differently.
I also spelled it differently.
Ulrisian?
Makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
makes a lot more sense. But it's explained to you.
Yeah. No, I'm on the wavelength. Realigned.
Of course, he took credit for that.
He took credit for everything.
I mean, he wasn't wrong to though.
Year 0, according to your calendars. Bakadabula.
Was the events of that year 0 the cause of the split?
That is not known by this Zorp. But our conglomerate rebranded.
You rebranded. When you say year 0, what was the time
before 0? Was it BS or was it?
It was definitely bullshit.
What it is? It's BS. It's before Sunday.
BS and PS before and post summit.
Yeah.
According to your calendars, yes. I got a bullet.
So it was before. Sorry, my brain just suddenly wondered, like, we've done some weird time traveling, these being so almost are transdimensional. I was wondering if there was a split that had happened after an event that had not taken place yet.
Ah, whoa.
when you make the transdimensional being be like, hold on, my brain just went fuzzy.
Experiencing static.
I live in the quantum bullshit, guys. It's okay. Been there, played that character, done that timeline.
Well, if you remember how the Zorps work, the rival stores work, you'll know to be careful, do not take anything, and whatever you do, when you're on the lower floor, don't look at the floor.
Got it. So,
I actually don't think Breton has ever been inside his Zorps yet.
Yeah, and it was the ceiling before, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I remember it was like, no, it was when you're on the top floor, don't look at the ceiling. Yep. Now it's when you're on the bottom floor, don't look at the floor. Cool. Where would we also go to potentially offload items of interest for the store in exchange for currency?
To the main counter. I got a bula.
Main counter it is.
I get a bula.
I get a bula. Alright, go to the main counter.
Okay. You see another Zorp, looks exactly the same. The only difference in identifying marker is he has a different number on his shirt.
Yeah. We've got some items that we are potentially interested in selling off, and Breton will just go through our items upon items upon items that are in the party sheet. Some of which shouldn't be in here. Some of which are. Okay. For example, Aelith's Gambit is an item that is in here. Or is it? Ruby, are you ever going to use that again, or is that just a thing that we can now potentially sell for income?
What are we selling?
We're going through the party sheet and selling off magic items we don't need anymore.
Oh.
I get a bula.
Let's see. I don't need the gloves of spell storing. I don't need either of those Mythor breastplates. I don't need the Moon-Touch scimitar. I'd like to hold on to the Periapt. I don't need the plate armor. We probably don't need the ring armor. We don't need 3 rings of protection. Can we combine them all to 1 ring of protection plus 3? I mean, that'd be kind of dope.
I don't need Shadow Prince's Revenge.
Ring Mail of Force Resistance, probably don't need that. Scimitar's Speed, we don't need that. We got plenty of shit we could sell.
That's what I'm saying. We got a bunch of stuff in here that we don't need and we can sell. Yes, let's start making a list of this so we don't have to just do this. All right. I hate to do this to the guys. So Alice Gambit, you don't want to sell that yet.
No, I'm gonna hold on to Alice Gambit. I still actively have that. I'm not attuned to it, but I do have it.
Band of Soul Splitting.
I don't need it anymore.
May not be worth much, but like I say, we're literally just getting rid of all this junk, so we don't have to carry it around anymore. Brace your opponent's might.
Does me nothing.
Well, that's probably called for Valymr. That's
yeah,
not your item.
I'm good.
To sell or keep?
Sell.
We're just dumping out the inventory.
Fire sale.
We got chainmail and chain shirts. I imagine they'll give us a bag of chips for those. I'll add them to the list just to do it. I'm not worried about how much it's be. There's a +1 chain shirt armor.
Mm-mm. I don't need it.
Cold weather clothing we have 9 of. I don't think we need all of that. Demal,
I don't think they need it here.
I know we don't have the Demal because Demal was returned to the proper order. We covered that. We have 600 gold worth of diamonds. Probably need that. Enchantable rings. We're probably never going to do anything with that, but why not? We have an enduring spell book. that I don't think we need. Gloves of spell storing. Is there anybody who still might need to have use of that?
Nope.
And unfortunately, it was an attunable, and other things were necessary.
Can I interest you in a map of Retberry?
We're not selling the Lux and Beacon, even though that probably would actually make us significant fucking bank because of it. There are 2 Mithril Breastplates listed in the sheet here. I'm pretty sure there's not actually 2 of those.
I think one of those is mine, and mine is Mithril infused breastplate armor +1. I'd love to get a higher one, like 2 or 3, but you know.
Well, like I said, we're selling stuff here to hopefully pay for getting through this damn portal.
I think mine was the one James infused for me.
Which means if he's dead, that's probably not +1 anymore. Because that fades after time.
Yeah, I'll just give me the Mithril Breastplate, and I'll trade out the other one.
That's what I was trying to establish. Because Valymr, what is it you wear? Is it also a Mithril Breastplate +1?
No, I was always on Adamantine, and now I've got Adamantine half plate.
Okay. So is there an Adamantine breastplate that you were selling?
It was used to create the half plate.
But you're right, it was, because you gave the Adamantine. That is 100% fair. Alright, so there's a non-magical Mithril breastplate in here.
How do I drag it to my inventory? There it is.
And Midge, I'll 100% say, I'm just going to give you this list. You can figure it out after the session, so you don't have to sit there and do the math on this, and then we'll run around town doing more shit just to make things a hell of a lot easier on you. You want to keep the parry up in True Life, fair. Plate armor +1, don't need that. Platinum ingots. Do we need platinum ingots?
Not anymore.
We have 11 potions of cold resistance that we're never going to use. I'm going to sell a bunch of those. Keep that. Quarterstaff, whatever. A bunch of days of rations, which let's just keep those. You wanted to sell the ring mail armor of force resistance. The ring of arcane refocus. I don't think you might even remember what the hell that does, let alone what we're doing with it. So I guess it's going in the bin. Refocus. Ring of darkness. Ring of haste. Ring of... There's a ring of mind shielding in this party sheet that I don't think we have either. So I'm not
No, that probably needs to go. I also put in, if you need, I think you might need to scroll back up for it. I've already forgotten what I put in. Yay, memory pad.
Scimitar of Speed. Alright, Scimitar of Speed. No one's using that, and nobody's ever bothered to, because it's always been a magical. It's been a attunement.
It was a Darius thing.
No, I think the Scimitar.
No, Darius never used it.
Raj, wasn't it?
I just know it has been in the party sheet forever and nobody's ever touched it.
Yeah, we can sell it. I don't need it.
Yeah, we all have our own specific shit going on.
We got scrolls for days. There's no point in selling scrolls. Shadow Prince's Revenge Glaive.
There's also the Hound Knight Glaive.
I'll go back up and do that when I finish the bottom of the list. Stuff. Wand of Fireball and Wand of Fireball +1, because that's a thing. And a Hound Knight.
I love just reading old players who aren't playing with us anymore's inventories and just to see what they had on here. So Raj had 3,000 foot of rope.
3,000 foot of rope? She had 300.
Such a garage thing.
Hold on, no. So that means she had 60 50-foot ropes.
I
60 50-foot ropes.
But why?
Why?
well, I think technically
That's
it's
600 pounds.
I think because she was painting the underside of the airship.
maybe.
Yeah, that'll have
I
been
think
it.
It might be that.
And to
If
be
any
fair,
of
that's
that stuff
probably
is-
about the amount you need.
If any of that stuff is on another person's character sheet, Midge, as well, just feel free to mark it
check
off
it.
the list as that's fair. No, that's 100% fair because some people have been really bad about taking their own shit off of there.
Rebel Cat, what are you doing?
So yeah, this is all. Some of it's more valuable than others. We understand. We're just kind of offloading everything. We'll take essentially the first frost for it. Do you perhaps deal in blood silver?
Of course. I got a bullet. That is the main currency. Yeah, I got a bullet. We also offer other currencies. I can trade it for mortal coin, other planes, for example, fire seals, Ocklin, bronze seal, Elysian gold.
I'm super tempted to ask for some Elysian gold just because I think Breton would love to get his hands on some of it. Could I get 100 gold of that in Elysian gold? 100 gold trade value.
Everything you have here is only worth 12 Elysian
Yeah,
gold.
it's like, oh, it's worth 12 Elysian gold. It's like, oh, well, bummer.
Elysian gold is not. It's 10 blood. It's 10 blood silver to an Elysian gold. It's a gold 12. Quick math calculations. They'll be able to get you probably at least one piece of Elysian gold.
Only one piece for all this? That
least.
we're gonna get. Well, I guess blood silver is significantly more valuable than standard gold. So
Yeah. Blood silver is worth 20 silver pieces as a coin.
So blood silver is worth less than electrum. Because electrum is worth fuck my brain.
Oh, yeah, it's worth fuck all.
5 silver.
Because
isn't
it's
it?
10 silver to 1 gold, and then hold
I
on.
thought electrum was 5 silver.
Yeah, but it's like a Scottish pound note, Scottish £10 note. No one's going to accept it.
So yeah, you're right. No, 1 electrum is worth 5 silver. So blood silver is worth 2 gold. 1 blood silver is worth 2 gold.
Yeah.
Which explains why it's a 1/2 conversion. You are correct. My brain. It's been a long time since I've had these electrum guys. My brain broke when I tried to think about
The
it.
way that
It only buys cider nowadays.
the way that I would convert it is you would. This is going to be really archaic English knowledge. You would treat blood silver the same as a gold piece. However, it needs to be before the decimal rating. So it's 20. So it's pounds, but it would require 20 shillings to make a pound. So a silver in this case would be a shilling, making a blood silver. And it's also, 20 pieces of silver.
So yeah, blood silver is worth 2 gold because that's how my brain can work around that.
Yeah.
And then it's
There's a Lindy Beige video about the old English coinage, and he made a really good argument for why it's actually really
Better.
good.
Yeah.
I forgot it, so I think he might have been wrong.
I had to learn. I had to learn.
Forgot the reason.
I had to learn all of the old English coinage because I was running a Call of Cthulhu game in 1920s England, which was before we decimalized our currency. So I had to learn.
It was
about
only in like the
pounds.
70s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like really late. My parents
So
had
pounds,
shillings when they were.
halfpennies, farthings. Hello, hello,
Tuppenny.
governor. Just suddenly tuppenny bit.
We were never from London. No.
Anyway. Yes, I'll sort that after. And I'm going to turn off Zorp's Emporium because I've been listening on loop since we've entered. They give you an amount of currency.
yeah.
Yay!
We will pocket the blood silver that they have given to us as a part of this exchange, and Breton will be like, "I hope this is enough for whatever we need to bargain for." We have more coin. We can theoretically pay at a reduced rate as well, but we
I do hope that whatever we have here is worth enough. As a note, if we do have any blood silver left before we go, let's make sure we get it exchanged for not blood silver.
The thing that worries me is we need to have a. So we need to find someone willing to, and really don't want to get into the slave trade. This is just not something I'm looking for.
There's a reason I'm hoping that we find an information broker who might have, assuming that they have knowledge of how to operate this portal, say a secondary activation code, something that can open it without, say, having to sacrifice one's soul to whatever being it is that is responsible for it. That is the hope in the game plan, anyways. So let's, I guess, as we said before, we kind of thought about looking for information brokers. We know that we can just go straight to the bank and be like, hey, we're looking for something. But if we don't want to deal with the big bad devil in charge, like, do we? I think maybe taking a look around the city and just see if there's, ask around corrals and see who all, like if you're looking to buy information, or maybe do we just want to ask around about the portal?
Sure.
Yeah, that could work.
Cool. You guys get on that because I don't speak Infernal.
Would you like Angel to also help?
Yeah.
Help whoever's doing it, absolutely.
So Angel can help one of you.
Angel, yeah.
One of you can also make another. I would say this is persuasion at this point, for if you're trying to.
The hardest thing about this campaign, the hardest thing this campaign going in the next couple of weeks is remembering that Angel's name is a hard G, not a soft G.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. It's gonna be hard to Angel.
Angel. I'll forget.
Yeah, I'll tech him.
Sure. Is both are Ruby and Valymr splitting up and going to ask for information? Like gonna go
In
try
this
and
place?
talk
Fuck no.
Yeah, that's a
fair point. That's a fair
good
point.
call.
Okay.
Also, we need to find some stables for the birdies before we're not leaving them like just out and about. We don't want them to become lunch.
You were fine until you brought them up. Now we have to
big
deal
look.
with them.
It's a big town. We just brought them in with us.
Yeah,
like
I've been assuming there's been hitching posts outside a lot of buildings and stuff. You do see
Okay.
that there are people moving around on like mounts.
it's big enough you would not just want to walk everywhere, not all day. So we have found the demonic equivalent of the Wild West.
It's also very clean. Like it's paved. Everything is paved. Any signs of dirt is like planter boxes. There's street carts, but everything is very orderly.
Welcome reprieve from our time in the
Hell
Abyss
yes.
already. I can feel my morale rising. The idea of also eating a good meal instead of meal rations. Anyways. You guys gonna make those persuasion checks?
Yeah, I would be. I think we should be in the tavern again. Would probably be the best way.
You're gonna go to the town, okay?
Start off with the bar guy
Mhm.
and ask him. So, who around here would be the best person to talk to if we want to get some information on the portal over there?
The portal.
About a day's ride to the what passes for east.
You could ask one of the. If you want goings on from outside the city, the postmaster is always a good bet. Or you could go straight to the mayor.
Anguille actually did suggest the postmaster.
Yeah, he did.
Ruby, so give me a. You got a 22. I'm gonna say that whilst Valymr is like chatting up the bartender, you just go in and start talking to some of the denizens. Get friendly, that kind of thing. Explain that you're a traveler, like you're a traveler here on a trade mission, that kind of thing. And you notice there's a woman who's just finished a meal. On her bracelet, you recognize a name. You recognize the name.
Josgath.
Zorvath.
What?
The capitalized name from your list of names.
Okay. In what context do I have this name in?
On a bracelet.
It's on this lady's bracelet, but this was originally one of the names from your list that you pulled from the portal.
Oh. It's a nice bracelet. She'll say to ye old tiefling, question mark?
It's a tiefling lady. Yeah.
All right.
You know, she's got that pale yellow skin that the ones here seem to have. Thank you. This was from my family. This is something of my family. It's a bit of an heirloom. We've had it a while.
A family heirloom, really. And I'm gonna go on a limb here. What's your name?
Isla.
Isla Zorvath. Very nice.
No. Zorvath was my it's my great grandfather.
Okay. This is gonna sound really awkward coming from a complete stranger, but did he have anything to do with the big portal that was just kind of outside town?
Yes, he became hollow.
Ah, so that's what those names are. Huh. Interesting. We're trying to get to it, open it, so just trying to figure how it works.
Yes, well, he was selected for one of the Midgate, and
Selected?
yes, we hold Midgate every turning, and one lucky denizen becomes hollow.
Lucky. Sorry,
Where did you come from?
You're not too far
Lucky,
away.
lucky.
One lucky denizen becomes hollow. It's a great honor.
When is the next one going to be?
Oh, the next turning, we're getting close.
Define close.
But Midgate. Midgate happens every every turning. We're in cycle 3. It's normally around cycle 4, 5.
Pretend I'm from the material plane.
Oof, material. I was never very good at my chronology. Midsummer?
Okay. And what is it now?
Late spring?
Too long.
Is that her answering this, or is this Midge? We just came from there. We know what season it is.
Oh, sorry. Was that a question to her or Midge?
Yes, that's a question to her.
Yeah, that's
Ruby's
her
trying to
response,
figure
yeah.
out how long it's going to be until the next one in actual terms of days, because I don't translate abyssal bullshit.
Infernal, but yes.
Diabolic.
I will throw this. I'm assuming this is a cleaning rack I use at all of you.
You would know that on the material plane, you're currently in the first week of summer.
So it's shortly.
Theoretically.
Yeah, not too long. Theoretically. If the cycle's match.
Ruby's got her thinking face on. Give me a minute. How does someone... Is there a way to make it happen, now?
Normally that's the mayor's purview. The mayor selects somewhat when Midgate happens.
Who's the mayor?
Mayor.
Yes, the mayor. He has a name.
Not that I know of.
Does he have a residence?
The bank.
Okay.
He's the bank manager as well.
Okay, he's the bank manager. He has a residence. He's at the bank. Okay, I can work with that. Thank you. Place is weird.
Would you like
Thank
some
you.
spotted lava snake?
No, thank you. No. I actually
On second thought.
take a piece.
Okay. It
Sniff
smells.
test.
It smells really sweet. Sweet. It's like sweet savory, like a sweet chili.
Yeah. Just taste it.
It's like sweet chili octopus.
As Beth doesn't eat seafood, she has no idea what octopus tastes like. But I'll take your word for it.
Fair enough. I don't either. You know, for someone who has spent a lot of this campaign describing food, I don't often eat food. Like, in general, like, as in... not
I know,
as in,
you and your...
my variety
chicken
is
nuggets,
very limited. No, I don't even eat those.
Alright, Valymr, let's go.
I have no frame of reference.
What? I was drinking a thing.
Yeah, cool. Breton, we need to have somebody to talk to. The mayor.
Oh, so we're just going straight to the... okay.
So there's this meet that they do to select somebody, and it's like supposed to be very shortly. We're going to see if we can convince him to hold it, now.
Wait. Did they select somebody to become Hollow?
Yeah, it's a big honor.
Well, that makes things a lot more morally calm in my soul.
Glad to know you have one.
Like, you don't
That's
seem...
hurtful.
You don't seem... you seem still unsettled by it.
Like, Breton is just kind of hearing this information. It's like, so they have convinced individuals that becoming what we saw in that cabin is a honor.
Not our culture, not our fight. Let's go.
This is why I purged them.
Has anybody seen The Wicker Man? Or
Not
Midsummer?
our culture, not our fight. Let's go. We're going to the bank.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah, it's like on the scales of things that I really need to give a fuck about, this is a solid C-.
Part of the gate, part of the door, part of the gate, part of the door.
There will be time to fix this after we fix the big problem.
So you
Existential crisis apocalypse first. We'll solve the cultural issue of them selecting people to die later.
you enter the
Put
bank.
it on the list.
It's very easy to see that big spiraling building in the center. And you enter the bank. And you see inside, it's bigger on the inside than it was the outside.
Swear to God, if I need a Honko stamp, I'm burning it down.
As now you see a long corridor of bank tellers. And all in like a pristine white marble in here. And it's like everything's really like reflective and bright. And there's just these lines upon lines of bank tellers and those little like roped off lanes. But it's pretty empty. It's like they could serve, you'd say, easily 100 people at the same time. But there's like 3 people. Looks like...
Oh, is there a receptionist?
There is a reception as well. But she seemed to be right at the end of all the tellers. You see just the little info kiosk.
Then she is walking and the heels are clicking the whole way.
It is very much. And you can actually hear like the scribbling of parchment as you walk. Like... And eventually you see a young tiefling man. Small... is wearing like a nice... slightly paisley black jupon. Like doublet. Got a little bit of a rough collar. He's got that pale yellow skin that this vein of tiefling seems to have, with bright yellow eyes, nicely shaped horns, and yeah, he looks up and he goes. He actually speaks in common to you, as you approach. I think. Good evening. Do you have do you have an appointment?
No, I need to speak with the mayor, though. Can that be arranged?
You need to speak with the mayor, and you don't have an appointment. On what business would you like to speak to the manager? Is this about
Selecting the
an account?
hollowed, or selection of the hollowed.
And may I take a name?
Sunderstar.
He picks up the parchment that he wrote on and like instantly disintegrates in front of him. And then you hear as a new letter like just appears on the desk, and he pulls out a small like letter opener, cuts open, opens the letter and goes, "Yes, the manager will see you. Please, this way." And a door frame just appears behind him.
I may or may not just not want to speak to your manager, but that's okay. Thank you. Should our friends?
Your hairstyle has just changed in front of us.
He opens the door and leads you through.
Thank you.
Have we just changed planes?
Probably not. Dimensional door.
In front of you, you see a nice, very nice office, well kept. And in front of you, you hear the scribbling again of parchment, where there's a large desk. This desk is gargantuan. It will be like almost the size of a building. At least a one-story building. And sat behind it is this colossal devil. Fancy clothes. Again, this dark color with a simple jupon. Deep yellow skin. Horns made of gold. As well as its teeth.
Please tell me this isn't Mammon.
A very simple but well-tailored goatee. Nice curl to it. Very V for
Darius?
Vendetta.
Oh, very nice.
Guido Fawkes kind of look. And he looks down at you, entering, and he disapparates into like a thin smoke, and then appears in front of you in a form of your size. Now, whom do we have here? Lady Sunderstar, Lord Valymr Kensek, and Sir Breton Montilier. What are the heroes of the gatekeepers doing in my fine establishment?
Come to bargain.
You should ask about a gatekeeper. Or you should mention a gatekeeper. You're looking to open a gate?
That.
You're speaking my language. And that is where we'll leave tonight's episode, because we are 8 minutes away from time, and I feel like this is a good place to open up with next time. So,
Mammon,
I'm come here to see a man about a gate.
We're here to see a man about a gate. Well, I will see you next time. Oh, so thank you. All I've got left to do is to thank those who have been here. Thank you to Bethany Rose, to Lord Lambert, and to DM Lake. I've been Midgeman. We have been the Elendor Chronicles crew. Join the component cast here tomorrow for some more Lancer, because It's Just Business is back in business. So if you like spacey, jumpy, fighting mechs, we are currently in a space battle hiding behind meteorites, I think.
As one does.
As one does indeed. But other than that, we will catch you next time we're live. Until then, bye-bye for now.